I would prefer.
Hello, boss. I have noticed the jingling keys explain the variety of the day. Thank you, Whitebread, for biting on those jingled keys. So, what Defcat and I are doing today is they had a very interesting idea about how most archetypes in Magic have different brackets now. With what? Hold on, I'm trying to make them. Okay, now we are two equally sized white
You're
men.
piecing together a sentence. I'm excited for it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm doing my Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Anyway, different archetypes in Magic, they can be played across multiple brackets. Many archetypes have a bracket they're most at home in. Like certain archetypes, if you tried to do a bracket 1 combo deck, you're probably going to have a harder time than doing this at bracket 4. So on and so forth. So what we are going to do as a service to the community, and definitely not as a way to farm sweet YouTube views, is we are going to make a ad hoc tier list of where we think each archetype is happiest in the bracket system.
Yeah, and let's define this for a moment. I almost want to say that we're trying to put these archetypes in the place that they function the best. Like you are going to have the most fun playing it within this bracket. Not even that it's the strongest, it's just you are given the tools within this bracket to have fun, and what other people are doing isn't going to like absolutely just like out of nowhere you stood up and have no iron in your body and have like flatlined on the floor. Like we don't want it to feel like every other deck is constantly making you feel bad.
Yes, like what bracket will you get to feel like, wow, I've done the thing feels like what I said it was when I built this deck? Because sometimes you get decks where, oh, I want to do here, we'll just spoil how I feel about mill. You go like, oh, I want to do a mill deck. And before, maybe like 2 years ago, when mill started getting more tools, your real only option was like, oh, I'm going to do Bruvac combo, or I'm going to do Bruvac persistent petitioners. And you do that, and then it's like, well, you make a bracket 2 or even a bracket 3 mill deck, and everyone's like, okay, you're a liar, and you smell faintly of piss because you're really just a combo deck in a trench coat. And so Mill's specific situation has changed, but that's going to be what we're talking about. Like what brackets where you can technically take it to bracket 4, technically take it to bracket 2, but it's not going to feel right if you do.
Yeah, there's going to be some like splash damage. You're going to be able to like pick its home, but then it can bleed out into the other, you know, brackets on a level, you know. It's not a hard locked jail.
Standard deviations.
Okay, maybe some.
Some will be in Stinky Boy jail, but many it's going to be more of a standard deviation thing where this is where they're happiest and it will fall off as you get away from this, but it's not going to be unplayable. So with that explanation done, I'm going to hit the 3-minute ad break and put all the non-subs into Twitch jail, and then we will get into the actual content.
Okay, perfect. I have an awful story about my morning.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second to balance audio levels. YouTube is saying your name on YouTube is now Mustache Homie, which is perfect.
Oh, perfect.
They're saying you're quiet. Twitch, is he quiet? Because sometimes I have issues with my YouTube volume.
No longer be quiet now, as I have raised my microphone. Hopefully.
Let's see if that works.
That'll be number 1.
All right. A Twitch viewer thinks you're fine. J-Man, well, holy fuck, Re-Ink. Thank you for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Welcome back to Dog Heaven. I appreciate your ongoing generosity, my goat. God bless you. And then Gecko Gamer, thank you for the 3rd month in a row at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. And Calamity, thank you for the 12th month. Happy Twitchiversary. Welcome to the dog home. And Motive Matthew, thank you for your tier 1. Welcome to the dog home as well. Okay, Joseph on YouTube is saying you're a touch better now. Hi, my son.
Maybe a little 10% bump.
Yeah, a little tiny bumpy. I can hear Defcat just fine, which is kind of ironic if you think about it. That's pretty fun. You know what? You got me.
I refuse. Well, I don't know how many of you are as antiquated with Magic artists, but I just had 1,200 playmats delivered to my home this morning because I help handle sending those out for a lot of Magic artists. And I went to go meet the man that was dropping them off, and he knew a little bit about Magic and was excited to meet me. And the disappointment on his face when he realized I'm not an artist and I'm just here to pick them up was unreal. The conversation went quiet. He looked me dead in my eyes. He went, "I didn't wake you up, did I?" Like, how bad did I look for bro to say that? Like, I didn't wake you up. Oh, that immediately, any confidence in how I looked was just crushed.
That's fucking hilarious. Dude,
Yeah.
okay, we have a question from Hellcat. Would you agree that most decks at high brackets are just combo decks? I would say CEDH, yes. At CEDH, you have almost even Godo, which is technically beating you to death, is beating you to death by taking infinite combats. It depends on, like, you can argue the semantics of combo, but Defcat is much better at CEDH, plays much more, and hosts a channel about CEDH. So you answer.
Yeah, so for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I'm sorry. I am the co-host of Playing with Power. I'm also Defcat MTG. I think I've made over like 20 CDH deck techs in the last like 2 months with new commanders. I love brewing, so I'm not some boring person, but I am an old head. I've been around the block. I've been doing CDH for almost 10 years. So when it comes to whether or not every CDH deck is a combo deck, that actually changed a freaking ton with the bannings. Oh my gosh. After we lost Jewel Lotus, Mana Crypt, and Dockside, a lot of decks pivoted to being a little slower, more mid-rangey, and as a result, decks started leaning more into their synergies and into more of like what their commanders can trigger. And so we're less combo than we ever have been, for certain, especially less turbo. But on top of all this now, Wizards has just been printing some bonkers, fun, exciting, varied, like unique archetyped commanders and cards that you can lean into less and less combo style commanders. But in the end of the day, if you're playing CDH, you need to win the game all at once. So that happens via a combo. You gotta be able to end the game, not just take one player out. So it's like really well packaged archetypes that conceal carry, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, because there's at like CEDH, there's a meaningful difference, I think, between I do like a Rog Thras, or I guess Rog Thras wouldn't do it, but like Timna Thras land loop into, eventually you're getting hit with a Finale of Devastation for infinite mana so that I can kill all of you with infinite damage, and you're going to go, and a casual player would go, oh, that's a combo, but it's not as comparable to a capital C combo as, okay, I put Demonic Consultation on the stack, then I put Thassa's Oracle, or I would put Thassa's, whatever, pretend I resolved the Thassa's Oracle combo correctly. Those type of, like, here's two cards, they say I win the game on the spot combo versus, okay, I loop 8 different toy trains, and if they choo-choo loud enough, I'm allowed to run you over with them.
I mean, imagine going to any martial arts competition. You got the judo guy, the karate guy, you got, you know, like ancient Chinese level, like everything. But then all of them are concealed carrying. That's CDH. You're going to fight for a while, but the second bro wants out, he's just going to pull out the blick and it's over. And that's more so on that level. But like you're talking about with land loops, there's a 4-mana new creature from the new set, Edge of Eternities, that says whenever you play a land card, mill one, and you can play lands from your graveyard, and you can get an extra land drop. And so there's actually an infinite loop with that card and Displacer Kitten that a lot of new decks are playing, and it's not necessarily a combo. It just worked really well with cards that the decks were already liking to play. It's really cool. I just feel like we're getting more and more flavor in CDH than we ever have been as a result of the bannings. But that's also just because Wizards has been printing better cards. I think this would have happened regardless of the bannings, but now it's just even more prevalent.
Yeah. All right. You trying to do this shit?
Oh man, I'm ready. I've been thinking about this for a while.
Perfect. Okay. So I have a secondary document of the archetypes that I'm going to. Here's how we're going to do this. Instead of a normal tier
Yeah.
list, you guys get to see the full thing. We're going to clickbait YouTube with a fake tier list background. The way we're going to do it is I have slides labeled bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3, bracket 4, and I'm going to copy paste very bad snips from a very very nice document Defcat made for us, and I'm just gonna take little.
It's so.
I'm just
it,
gonna
I
take
even
little
added
screenshots.
emojis.
I'm gonna take little screenshots from it that do not capture everything they said about it, and then I'm gonna copy paste that into the PowerPoint. So first, let's just start at the top.
Yeah.
Combat-oriented archetypes. We'll go with Stompy. Big, aggressive creatures that hit hard and fast, often with trample or haste. Where do you think this goes?
Well, let's talk about the commanders that are in it. We got Galta. We got Xenagos.
Let's pad this out.
Like, it's a lot of dino decks, right?
Right. It's mostly
what
dinosaurs.
Else really plays big Stompy?
I mean, so here's actually a meaningful distinction is I think the dragon players would play Stompy if they did not feel so insecure that they had to turn to combo. I think there's plenty of Stompy decks that could be dragon decks, except every fucking player looked at Terror of the Peaks and was like, "What if I won without swinging?" And then they went.
The thing. I feel like dragon players were dino players that showed up to the Olympics and realized everyone else was roided and were like, "Oh crap, I gotta step this up."
Dude, roids, they're the ones who showed up to the Olympics and was like, "Oh fuck, other people worked out. Other people trained for this shit. I showed up with dad's money and a dream." So
yeah, I mean, in general, Stompy loses to what? It loses to like people having half the mind to play removal, and
people
I think
being
around...
awake.
Yes, the attentiveness of the table. I mean, if I'm playing bracket 2, I'm probably drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Count on that.
We also have a clarifying question from Elikman. What defines an archetype? Whatever Defcat defined as an archetype. So like under combo, he's broken out deterministic storm, non-deterministic storm, infinite combo, spell slinger, which I would call non-deterministic storm, you motherfucker. Cheerios, polymorph transmute. So a lot of different types of combo. Basically, if it's prevalent enough, presumably that they've played against a deck that does it, they've broken it out here. So there's going to be a lot more granularity.
The deck was built around the design of doing this thing. So for Stompy, you know, we're talking about building big creatures that trample over other people. Geshath, Sun's Avatar, is probably the best example of Stompy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go on, finish this. I'm gonna take a really bad snip.
No, you're good. I think the best place for Stompy to exist, where it's going to be enjoyed the most, is actually bracket 2, because once you get into bracket 3, you're going to be stopped so much more often. People are going to be way more acknowledging of what you're doing, and like you may be able to make the deck a bit stronger, but like Stompy doesn't need those 3 game changers to be fun and be good and be fast enough. Bracket 2's just fine for that. And then on top of all that, you know, it feels like less of a race, because in bracket 3 there's combo, man, and now it feels like you're somewhat playing, like you're trying to be aggro but also Stompy. Like in bracket 2, no one's ending the game turn 5 and 6, and that's when you get to start going creature, you know, and you just really start to slam.
I'm gonna take this one step further and say not only do I think most Stompy players would be happier in 2, I think most Stompy players have been bullied into 3 by their tables engaging in arms races. Because I had somebody ask me for advice with a friend that they loved and used to love playing Magic with, and they said we've been getting in more and more arguments because they really don't like my decks. They think my decks are too powerful. And I looked at it and it was a Stompy list, and I was like, okay, I play tested this, and some curve outs look fine, but a lot of this deck looks like it is meant to either defense of the heart or speed ramp into a Tali and then like high roll a Tali into a bunch of free creatures. And he was like, oh yeah, but if I don't do that, how could I keep up with anything? Because the thing I suggested to him was, well, what if you gave yourself a rule of I can only achieve creatures by spending mana to cast them from hand. I think if you did that, that would slow your deck down. And he was like, okay, yeah, but if I did that, I would lose every game of Magic I played from now until the end of time. And that, I think, is the like quintessential story in my head of how the Stompy players should be in 2, but many of them got bullied out of it and are now like, well, I'm playing Stompy, but it has to be I tap 4 mana to get 3 free creatures that are in total worth 30 mana, because if I don't do that, then the dumbass Quain player is going to just win next turn without ever touching my life total. But I think most of the things they want to play, I think they yearn for the fields of I play a Llanowar Elf turn 1, and then by like turn 5, I just play a big dinosaur.
Yeah. And that's where you get to be free. You know, it's like going all natural after
just look
a
at the
while.
flowers, man.
It's a good feeling.
Just look at the pretty flowers. let the rest of us worry about that second sun that is approaching ominously. You just look at the flowers, dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to do Voltron. Focus on one creature with equipment, auras, or counters to hit lethal commander damage.
Correct. So, I actually had a big change of heart in between when I wrote this list and the stream. I played against Joel from Joel is Magic. Previously, Jake and Joel are Magic. We were jamming it up, playing some games, and he brought the new Cloud that does the crazy triggers with equipment, as well as the one that allows him to draw cards on hit. And we were playing bracket 3, and he had built his Voltron like actually responsibly. He had interaction, he had things that weren't just about the commander, and a central game plan was landing protection first. It wasn't just power him up and get upset when it's gone. But it also wasn't to the point where we just couldn't interact with it and it was swinging out and beating everyone. I ended up using Uyo Silent Prophet to copy a destroy artifact spell 5 times to kill every single enchantment and artifact he had on the commander. And I ended up blowing all my lands back in my hand in the process just to not die. And that was really fun. And it felt like the bracket 3 high octane like kind of feel worked well, because the second someone looked like they were going to combo, we just had Ed over here with a shovel ready to beat his head in and scare him half to death and go, I won't combo. It was beautiful. I loved it.
I am going to agree with this one too. I've long held the stance that most Voltron decks should actually be stacks decks in disguise.
Yeah.
Because there is no amount of fast you can go to solve the problem of killing one person and then falling over. And so if you can't do that, it behooves you to try to slow the entire table down such that you can then win on the ground again. And I think once you get into bracket 4 and you get into CEDH, the combos become too fast for you to really have a hope, unless you're doing like Dargo but bad, and you just do all in on stacks and then beat people to death with Dargo. But I do agree that Voltron benefits from having much better cards, much better interaction, and using good stacks pieces, which don't really become socially acceptable until bracket 3 and above. Because then you can politic. Only being able to kill one person at a time is a massive detriment to politicking in bracket 2, and it's a massive boon in bracket 3 because of what you said. As soon as somebody looks like they're about to win, they all go, Joey, put the toes on them. And then they're like, now not everybody's not trying to blow you out because they probably built a good deck, for lack of a better term. There's like, I can deal with you when you are my problem, but right now you are not my
Yep.
problem. You are the Ristic Study player's problem, which is
Yep.
actually an interesting dynamic to create. So I agree.
Yeah.
Voltron 3, I think you can try it in 4 and 5, but I think you get squirrely quickly.
You just want to have fun, and that's the point of this list. Is we're talking about where each is going to have the most fun and like its home.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of what made Joel's list so great is he had interaction for the combo decks. Even though he wasn't even in blue, he held on to things to disrupt the engines that the person was building on board. He wasn't just, I power up commander, you guys have fun, I'll be on TikTok on my phone. Like, it was a interactive fun list that actively participated in the game state.
Yeah. We do have a someone from Anthony on YouTube is saying, what about cards like Slicer, which I think are interesting to talk about as an exception because you're killing with lethal commander damage, but you're
Yeah.
not Voltroning them really. You're just going, man, this is a double striker and you nerds don't play good creatures. And then you go all in on, you do have protection, but most of the Slicer
Yeah.
lists that have beaten my ass are doing it because they Blood Moon, which is a stack, like they
Yes.
prison you. They make it so
Yeah.
you have both hands tied behind your back, and then a very normal Honda Civic runs you over kind of slowly.
Let me make this as crystal clear as possible. That card is a design mistake. And the idea is that it runs rampant, and we don't need to make the allegories of what it does as a card. You already understand them. You prison down the rest of the table, and then this thing just gets to wabbajack everybody. And then on top of all of that, it's a parasitic deck that plays off of higher brackets because we used to not run as many creatures. When Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, and Dockside were around, bracket 4 and 5, a majority of the time played low amounts of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last year, we got a lot of new creatures that we like playing. So it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it used to be in that perfect slot. It was printed at the perfect time to be a parasite against the combo decks and against the turbo decks.
Yeah. All right. So I'm happy with Voltron in 3. To
Yeah.
Soulstorming's question, we're not going bracket by bracket. We're going archetype by archetype and sorting them into
Yep.
brackets. So next is go wide tokens, which I want to start first with this one, mainly so that the entire stream is not me just agreeing with the very cogent things you say. And so,
give me a left field. Give me something dumb.
oh yeah.
Say something ignorant.
All right, go wide tokens. You flood the board with tokens and you overwhelm the opponents through numbers. This one is the first one that I think bridges a little. I think a lot of the really dumb toys like Doubling Season, if you are not playing that in bracket 2, you're probably getting hosed for it. However, a lot of token decks do want to start using free interaction or board wide protection, because if you don't, you just get blown out fucking instantly. Everybody's keeping Toxic Deluge strapped to their fucking thigh. So I'm actually going to say that like doing the thing the most is bracket 2. If you want to participate in the competition of Commander, it's bracket 3. It depends on how much you want to win and how much you want to count to a really high number before you lose terribly.
I want you to tell me what token doublers are on the game changer list.
None. Those aren't the game changers. I think the token decks are benefiting from the game changer Teferi's protection. I think they're running a Simic token deck and taking Fierce Guardian. You're using it to not like, I got my super wide board of tokens. What do you mean, Wrath of God? Like that's what that's the bracket 3 part of tokens, to be able to actually leverage the tokens into winning a game, is once anybody else is bringing the board wipe with your name on it, you benefit from going bracket 3 to be able to hold the army together. But if you just want a big army and you don't care what happens to the big army after you get it, bracket 2 is your home.
Yeah. I think it's on the basis of your play group, because some play groups are gonna be unable to handle it at bracket 2 because they're big dum dums and do not know how to like ever pack removal, and
Hey,
now
look at
it's
this guy.
even stronger.
Didn't bring Languish.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking idiot. Left his
Oh,
copy of Languish at home.
what's the one where if you control a swamp, it gives everything -3, -3? I think it's Massacre. Yeah,
It is Massacre. Yeah, yeah. And it's -2 off of controlling a swamp.
Free.
So Bone Lord, to your point about what's a healthy amount of removal, it depends a lot on what kills your deck. I am a very firm believer now in like bracket 2 and 3. Every type of board-wide interaction thing you do should be asymmetrical in some way. Not 100% of the time, but your deck should be built to try to leverage asymmetry. I think we have so many either modal board wipes or board wipes that care only about certain qualities that it's really, really easy to make a deck that is just chock full of like, I'm playing little assholes, so I have Battle of Bywater, I have Austere Command, I have Dusk Dawn, versus just going like, okay, well, I Wrath of God to just clear everything off. Or if you go like, I'm a creature deck, I know I'm gonna win on board. I have Bane of Progress. I take like Cleansing Nova, which can just hit artifacts and enchantments. So, but the amount you need depends a lot on how confident are you that you're going to be the problem, and what types of problems are you going to face that you have to solve.
And that's what we're zeroing in on. And I'm talking to you, chat, right here. This list can almost be a cheat sheet of knowing what to prepare for in some way. Like, this is where you're going to see these archetypes the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where you may need to take anti-Stompy cards, anti-token cards.
Yeah.
And then okay. I'm gonna just skip around a little bit now. Let's go to Aristocrats. Tell me about Aristocrats.
This one, I think this one's going to be hard to place. I think this is going to be one of the most difficult on the whole list. Honestly. I'm going to ask you some questions so you can. I'm going to alley-oop you here.
This is perfect because I have very strong opinions about where it should be.
Okay, good. So, allegedly, there was a rap Aristocrats used to get as a little bit of a hater deck archetype. Like, people who played it were a little edgy, a little intense about the game. They liked to goldfish, and sit there on their board and be like, well, now that I've sacrificed this, that I've surveilled, and now I get to trigger this. And like, you just sit there and you're at a seminar for someone's My Chemical Romance fanfic, it felt like half the time. And I'm trying to understand what your view is of Aristocrats as someone who played Magic thoroughly through the pandemic with people you actually liked rather than suffering the LGS sweat wrath.
Well, that's easy. Nobody I like played Aristocrats. Even Z will use Aristocrat pieces for like Mardu Crash Out Aristocrats. I think they've been getting Mardu Aristocrats has gotten a glow up for at least utilizing the combat step.
True.
And so my really strong feeling is, in stone, I think they are happiest at bracket 3 for a very specific reason. I think they actually function the best at bracket 4 because almost all of them want to go into infinite loop behavior, and I think they have better tools to do that at bracket 4. The difference for me is that if you want to care about your commander, that stops happening at bracket 4 because your commander becomes faceless sack outlet or faceless drain effect. Like, you have a bracket 4 Sephiroth deck? No, you fucking don't. You have a bracket 4 Aristocrats deck, and Sephiroth is just the name you scribbled on the life loss effect. And so if you want to have, like, if you want the deck to feel like your Teysa, your Sephiroth, your whoever commander deck, I think it feels the most like that at 3. I think at 2, you have to snip your wings so hard that you lose out on fun. But I think at 3, people accept your loops, and it's chill enough that you can try to bring a little bit of unique personality to whichever aristocrat you're focusing on.
I think Aristocrats has a bottom floor of bracket 3. I think once you get down to bracket 2, you aren't doing enough for it to be even worth playing. There's more fun to be had down there in bracket 2. But I disagree with it ever being bracket 4 because I don't hear me out. Once you have taken a Honda's engine out and put in a Corvette's, that's not a Honda anymore. Don't give me that shit. Like that thing is motherfucking Frankenstein and it's horrifying. I'm not racing that. That's not a sleeper car. That thing's blackout drunk. Like I don't, and the Aristocrats are the same way. Like you said, now it's just this faceless, horrifying automaton of power, and then you're disguising a leveraged combo deck that likes to like stab itself to find its pieces. But legitimate Aristocrats decks where it's this non-combo fun, genuinely churning as much value as you can piece together while also doing other things rather than just playing solitaire on your board. I think
Mhm.
bracket 3 is just perfect for that because, like you said, bracket 4 makes it become this faceless, boring, you know, throw in a combo and then, oh, but if my combo piece was in my command zone, it'd be more consistent. Go play Niv Mizzet. Cut the shit out. Like
I'm gonna hand you a VV and a gold star. Yeah.
yes.
Although I do think, to your point, that goes back to, do we just call everything in CEDH a combo? Because I agree that if you were trying to do, if you brought a Sephiroth deck to a CEDH table, that is an infinite combo in a trench coat. You're trying to assemble A plus B plus C equals infinite life drain for the table. But at that point, is a Thrasios land loop not just, oh, this is a combo deck too? Godo, this is a combo deck too, because I am getting infinite output for this one distinct input. So I think if we say Aristocrats blends into combo at really high tiers, that's kind of true of everything, because nobody is trying to be like, I'm going to play a fair ground game and chip in for damage for about 3 turns before I drop a nuclear missile on you.
Everyone's concealed carrying is we're so happy to play this off like it's martial arts. Like we're gonna slap fight for a while, but eventually someone pulls it out.
Okay, then let's go to one that is not gonna be touching CEDH in a real way. Reanimator, which is cheating massive creatures into play from the graveyard. All of you fucking Celeste copers, we're talking to you right now.
Yeah. There was a time in CDH where Reanimator, or as it was called, Razakats, at the time we liked Razaketh, Reanimator, was a top tier strategy. And that was pre-Thoracle. Now you do not hear of it. I have said the term Razakats to Critical EDH. They're a great new channel. They do awesome CDH podcast. Love those guys. And I said Razakats to them. And they're like, what's that? And I just felt the age. I just felt my skin deteriorating. So yeah, I agree. This isn't touching CDH.
Right, and I think it's like the things that you would call, it has the same issue of this really just blends into combo, because you can do things from the graveyard that are going to win you the game in CEDH, but you're doing like a persist loop. Nobody's going to be like, this is the same thing as a Reanimator deck that seeks to bring back Valgavoth on turn 3.
Yeah. And that's where I would say I'm gonna lead us down a road here. I think the most fun I've ever had playing Reanimator is bracket 2, because it does not feel like I am threatening my opponents to pull out some BS instantly win the game combo piece. More, I'm slamming a Titan, I'm slamming Big Dragon, I'm slamming big cool creature that goes toe to toe with the Galta coming at me. It feels on their level. And often the cards at bracket 2 that do reanimation are symmetrical and it's fun for everyone, like Exhume.
I mean, you're smoking crack on Exhume, but I agree with you in general. Because I love reanimating with my Hensi deck, and
Yeah.
every time I have done it at a bracket 3 table, because that deck has kind of run the gamut over a number of edits. Every time I have done it at a bracket 3 table, I'm just like, fuck, man, I should have just ramped. What am I doing? Nobody cared. Like this thing at bracket 3, it's like, haha, I got a 9/9 for 1 mana. Everyone's like, oh, cool, whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, here's Gearson
Yep.
Starn, bang, bang, bang. And so I do agree, because bracket Reanimator is Stompy, but I don't want to use my lands for it. It's Stompy, but I want to
Yes.
use Reanimate to pay for it rather than 9 actual mana.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, it fits in with Stompy very well.
Yeah. Let me address everyone speaking about Hashaton. Hashatons is this replacement effect that is meant to cheat things into play using an ability so people can't respond to it. It is not about the reanimating portion. The idea is that you have to discard the card in order to do this pseudo copy reanimation effect. It's not Reanimator in its true form. Reanimator is milling something or entombing something within your graveyard, and
Mm-hmm.
then even on another turn from there, reanimating it. Hashaton is making a copy of it. It's not even the creature that's coming out.
It's a
It's a
4/4,
very
so you
different
can't
version.
get you also can't beat people to death with big honkers, which is one of the advantages of
Yeah.
reanimation. Hashaton is very like Esper mid-rangey or combo, and it's leveraging the graveyard mechanic to avoid getting counterspelled.
Yeah. And on top of this, it can feel weird to call Reanimator bracket 2. Just it is so broken in 60 card. I'm looking at you, Legacy, you little. And so it can feel weird, but we're talking about the most fun to be had playing this archetype within Commander, and bracket 2 just sells it like no other. It's a Arnold Palmer on a
Mm-hmm.
cold day. Never mind. Warm day. Warm summer.
Cold day. Get me a microwaved Arnold Palmer stat.
Oh,
And then
that is so cursed.
Soul, I think you bring
Ah,
up a good caveat to this, because we're placing generically. I think Onyxia is an example of one that would like bracket 3, because mainly because the reanimation is so easy. Like if your reanimation
mhm.
commander does not do the reanimation for free, I would probably put that in bracket 2, because you need to leverage additional cards and resources to get there. But Onyxia just says like, oh, holy shit, did you accidentally throw out this like Hollowed Haunting or this I don't know the name of any Abzan cards. Did you throw out this good enchantment? You just get it now, which is so much easier to
Yeah.
build up steam really fast than decks that are like, oh, my commander might bin stuff for me, but I have to get a reanimate in hand. I have to find like the creature, the reanimate spell, yada yada yada.
Yep.
But the yeah.
Yeah, I think a final note for Reanimator is that it's really fun to do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher brackets you go, the less people are gonna let you do your thing. And your thing doesn't have to be that powerful for it to be fun. I have had a blast reanimating a big dino because I'm playing Abzan. That's just fun. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's Hullbreaker Horror, the game's over.
Yeah. Like I want to be able to fucking like turn 3, turn 4 Archon of Cruelty and have it
Yeah.
be a big deal. In bracket 3,
Mm-hmm.
people might go like, "Oh, I mean, I guess that'll catch removal eventually. That's not coming at me like next turn, right?" But in bracket 2, it's like, "Oh, it's a kaiju, call the Pacific Rims, we must drift." And like you get to have the WWE moment if you reanimate something
Yeah.
like that in bracket 2, and it starts to fall off so quickly unless you are instead leveraging the reanimation as part of a like combo that's not truly related to that feeling of I have taken the bones of the T-Rex at my local museum and turned them into my warrior.
Oh, Night at the Museum.
What a
Great
movie.
movie. I did a
I'm
book
I'm
report on it.
referencing the Jim Butcher series. Real ones, no. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. What, you're saying my modular Nethroi deck isn't CEDH viable? I'm personally offended. So true. Yours is viable, I
Oh,
believe.
dude. Nethroi as the Biollante from Godzilla, one of my favorite decks. If you are playing that deck and you are not playing Doom Whisper, you are playing it wrong. If you are playing Nethroi, go buy a Doom Whisper right now.
Okay, next, I'm gonna throw you Super Friends. I want to see
Oh,
how you feel about Super Friends.
I have a horrible history with this.
Oh,
I
God.
am this is I'm about you are in the confession box for me at the moment. I'm going to bear something bad. I have destroyed at least 2 play groups, including one with my shop owner playing this thing. I built the Carthalion version, the Golgari version of this deck where you get to get more super friends back as they die. And very sadly, I was playing against my shop owner and I decided to go super friends stack with this. And I played a winter orb while having my super friends
You.
slamming. And they could not do anything. And my planeswalkers were all about resource denial. It was awful. I was a degenerate. I played this the week it came out. Cut to next week, my shop owner brings a triple sleeved, fully foiled out, like $8,000 Atraxa list, Super Friends, and just steamrolls my ass. He had a freaking what's the one where if you have to pay 1 mana to keep your creatures alive? The horrible land.
Tabernacle.
Yeah, he bought a tabernacle just to play that. It was rough, but do I think this deserves to be in a bracket? Oh, you already did it. Great. Yeah, Stinky Doo Doo.
I already put
Thank
in
God.
Stinky Doo Doo. Don't
Thank
fucking
God.
do this, Joe.
Thank you.
I think your story is perfect for that. I think if I were to force it into a bracket, I would say Super Friends is really non-deterministic Storm, but worse. Like
Yes.
it is almost as vulnerable as Voltron decks are because you can swing into them. And so, like your Carthalion deck, they benefit heavily from doing a stack strategy because that's the only way to hold the table down enough that your Super Friends actually get to go off. And then it's like, like imagine if every Izzet deck was trying to win, but like all the gutter snipe effects, so like gutter snipe VV, instead of just saying you damage a player, it said like go run a mile and then try to solve the nearest 8th grader's math homework, and if you get above a 90%, then we deal 2 damage. Like that's how winning with Planeswalkers feels, unless you have the Chain Veil infinite combo effect ready to go. So it feels horrible.
Marty the Goat just said it best. It has to be in 4, and then it dies to 4.
Yeah.
Oh, but here is the only deck that I've built that is Super Friends that I think isn't Stinky Doo Doo, and this is the only way you can run it, and it sucks. It's still bad, which is playing Ghostly Prison, playing Propaganda, where people can't attack you. Until I realized those don't say they can't attack your planeswalkers. And
Jesus.
If that was possible,
that's so real though. That's nice. So real. No, it wouldn't. I'm glad that Ghostly Prison is like, you can't hit me. Tony over there? Fuck Tony. I don't give a fuck about Tony, man.
And also, I don't want to read your fucking Planeswalker. I don't want to sit there and read an entire synopsis of Liliana's worst trudge through a swamp. I just don't want to know what, like, if there's like 10 on the battlefield, I'm just not going to listen anymore.
I mean, there was one time where Lupo had a Vorinclex deck where it went from like super friends to this is a combo deck, and the avenue is just Super Friends, and they somehow successfully Little Beaned. I will forever hold this in my head as peak gaslighting. Successfully Little Beaned getting their Vorinclex on the field with a full hand. Next turn, Ugin alted
Yeah, that's what I
Ugin,
did.
and this was the
I
one that's like
ruined my entire
right.
COVID play group with that one.
Draw 7, put permanents out, and they put like 5 new planeswalkers out, and they went to start alting again, and I was like, you know what, man? There's no way you don't have this. Let's just let's just pack this one up. Good job, shake my hand. But you absolutely fucking got this. And so if you're in the, oh, I'm doing super friends, but the goal is just I get a counter doubler and then I alt them, really you are in a different archetype, and the planeswalkers are just the avenue you're using to get to that archetype. If you're using quote unquote fair green planeswalkers, you might be doing a like tokens or stompy or counter strategy. If you're doing planeswalkers that win the game with their alts, you're doing a combo strategy, and it's just that a planeswalker happens to be there.
Dude, I think this is bracket 1.
No, it's stinky doo doo. Don't play it, Joe. I think that that's the thing. Is I think its power level genuinely spans every bracket, and I think it sucks at every bracket.
I think the most fun you could have, though, without hurting anyone's feelings that wants to try this, would be, say, just pick the ones you like the most. Go have your Avengers Assemble moment and play it at bracket 1.
Oh my god, you're right. I just remembered a deck I looked at was a Oops All Chandra deck, and it was the only planeswalker deck I ever had fun playtesting, and I was trying to like help make it better, and I was like, we literally can't. This is awful. This is awful and terrible, but it doesn't kill me. It doesn't It doesn't kill me inside. So yeah, I'll actually agree. Bracket 1 is the best one for planeswalkers.
But you have to have one of those Yahtzee buttons in the center where when you slam it, it plays a horribly bit crushed version of the Avengers theme song that's like out of tune as you slam the Chandra down.
On your Lorft. Yeah, okay. That's so weird.
Ethical planeswalking.
there was a deck I got shown. There was another bracket 1 deck that let me spin you a fucking yarn.
Yeah.
It was a Prismatic Bridge bracket 1 deck, which I know what you're saying. That's not fucking possible. Prismatic Bridge is so good. And yet, because the only non-lands in the deck was the Baton of Morale, the artifact that gives banding, and then it was creatures, and every creature was a desparked version of a planeswalker. And boy howdy, was this just a pile of people. I was like doing backflips to try to fix my mana with no ramp spells to get to turn 5, hit Prismatic Bridge, and then I flipped like a 2/3 with 0 relevant text. Next turn, I got a 5/5, no relevant text. It was beautiful. It was
most fun bracket 1. Go play Avengers.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna keep pushing. Let's look at. You pick one, Defcat. You pick one.
I was about to say, I'm picking one.
Yeah.
Come out of my mouth. I want to talk about Kindred.
Of course you do.
This is the one I thought the most about, because I think we could talk for days if I'm not careful
about how much I hate elves.
Yes. Elves, rooftop storm zombies, Morophon, oops, all Kindred. Look, Kindred decks, and I've never met someone who built a Kindred deck that I respect their deck building skills. I've never looked upon someone who has decided to build a Kindred deck and gone, wow, this is unique. Ever. Unless it's about the art, in which that case there's no mechanical kindredness. Well, it doesn't even work the way it's supposed to.
Here's how I'm going to frame it. I think I refuse to accept Kindred as an actual theme. I think Kindred is a fake theme.
Delete it.
That we have labeled things as a holdover from the really old days of Magic. Because if you do Kindred, your archetype is picked for you and is also different depending on what Kindred you did. Like, did you do Bird Kindred? Your archetype is losing the game. Did you do Elves? You're either doing Stompy or combo, depending on how many elf cards you've seen in your life. Did you do Merfolk? You're probably in like tokens or counters. Like I think, yeah, Kindred is just not a theme, and it's one of the first things people go to when they go, oh, how do I make a theme deck? And it's
Yeah.
just, I don't. It's just not. There's just nothing there. It's all
Well, they
faff.
all fall under the same hole of how can I put out as many of the creatures within this kindred archetype onto the battlefield as possible. And it's just a race. And
Mm-hmm.
then eventually they become combo decks. And they're all just these boring engines for the same ends to the same means. And I've never looked at a kindred deck that is doing something unique. The zombie list, the dragon list, the elf list, they're all doing the same damn thing. They're just trying to puke out the most
Mm-hmm.
of the same creature the fastest and or combo with them at the higher tiers. And there's some that have redeeming qualities of this where they are, I think, vampires, honestly, which is insane that I've been saying this, honestly, looking at this at a whole, but like vampires actually say on the card, sacrifice a vampire or tap a vampire or play a vampire and blank happens. And they're
Mm-hmm.
these specific, non generic, cool vampire tropey things that actually happen versus everything else just says this this creature type costs less. This creature type is bigger. This creature type gets haste. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just these generic bannering effects.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also do want to take this time to do a PSA because we're gonna be throwing strays at literally everybody today. If we
Yeah.
say your deck is boring, that doesn't matter. Every deck in the world should be interesting to you, the builder, and that's the most important person for it to be interesting to.
Yeah.
That said, if you have a Kindred deck, do not hold for applause at the end of your next
No.
game. But I think very, very few decks should. Honestly, you shouldn't be holding for applause if you're even a person. But it is Kindred decks all build themselves. Like a Kindred deck is
Yeah.
just, I am doing this incredibly straightforward thing, and this is the art style that I like the most.
Yeah.
And so
At the most, there's like we said, the very mechanically unique ones like wizards and things like that, where there's a lot, Wizards of the Coast has done to print you cards that are
mm-hmm,
wizard centric that aren't the generic bannering. So there's something to be said, but we've gotten past the point. We've evolved past Kindred being an archetype. It's now just a mechanic within the game that helps.
mm-hmm. So I'm gonna lock in easy bracket 4 for Kindred then.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What do you want next?
Ooh, life gain, life drain.
These gotta be different. You can't look Hove Estheim in the face and tell me life gain, life drain are the same archetype.
I am about to tell you why.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. Life
So,
gain, life drain.
once upon a time, there was something called Neopets. Neopets had a website in which you could play small little games and earn points and then buy cards and plushies of those Neopets.
Right.
Along the same lines in the East Coast, the more richer families that could afford it bought Webkins that did the exact fucking thing. And they were more expensive, and I could only afford Neopets.
Uh-huh.
And I remember enjoying sitting around playing with my Neopets, thinking, wow, I'm building up fun, unique things. While the others went, I have useful plushies that connect to the website.
Uh-huh.
Life gain doesn't win you the game. Life drain wins you the game. But they both do the same damn thing. It's just one was statistically better than the other in the long term as an investment for your parents, and they should have listened to you. And so, what I'm really trying to say here is that they play the same. You are both finding cards that say the word life something on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are archetyping around that. It's just that you're going to be using the life in a different way.
Okay. I agree with that, but I think the part of your sentence using that life in a different way is broader than you. I think you play Magic that's too good to appreciate the subtle nuances in the head empty bracket 2 gameplay that I enjoy. And I will say this is a very recent thing. I do not have
Yeah.
many examples in mind, but I think Wizards has noticed that life gain is a horrible standalone thing. That it is a
Mm-hmm.
boring pillow forty nonsense strategy that was only good before they started designing for Commander and printing things that could deal large amounts of damage to multiple people, or
Yeah.
any equipment that had trample. And so
Yep.
recently, we've seen commanders like Baitor. We have seen commanders like Hope. We are getting more things where life
Yeah.
gain is this thing tacked on to an entirely different strategy. Like Baitor is a kind of like go medium. You want to go a little bit wide to put counters on your shit with the life gain. Hope is using it to mill people. I think we're going to get more and more. Life gain is the value loop that you exploit for an outlet that is unrelated to life gain, whereas life
Yeah.
drain is both the value loop and the outlet, because life drain can just win you the game itself.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so that's why I think
Yeah.
they should actually, I think 2 years ago, I would agree these are the exact same archetype. I think we're beginning
not
to see
anymore.
a bifurcation, and I think it is going to
I
get
see that.
steeper. And I personally like life gain with every new card they print for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially now that life is being a resource not used for life drain, it's used for other things,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like energy in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, we can separate those two. Would you like to start with life gain?
Yes, I would love to start with life gain. Uh,
Team me up, Dad. Where are we going with this?
tee me up, bother. Let me think. I I think it's bracket two. I think it's bracket two, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be biased as fuck as I say this. I think it's bracket two because of what I saw out of the Baitor precon, which is that
Yeah.
when it was unedited precons, this thing looked like a fucking house. It looked so grindy, so resilient. Their life total
Mm-hmm.
kept yo-yoing back up. It was hard to take them out. And then as soon as we did upgrades, that deck looked like a wet fart at recess, man. It was awful. It was
Yeah.
awful. And all of you motherfuckers talking about Aetherflux, those are combo decks. Like every
Yep.
Aetherflux deck I've seen is an artifact combo deck or some type of infinite or non-deterministically
Oh,
Hmm.
this is how we shut that up. If what you are saying that archetype does, let's say Aetherflux, is better than what the archetype is, then you're no longer talking about the archetype. Aetherflux is better than life gain as a whole.
Right.
So we're not talking about Aetherflux.
Aetherflux in your artifact storm deck is just way better than fucking Soul Sisters. But for
Yeah.
life gain, where you want it to matter that you're grinding this incremental advantage out, I think that's such a fun strategy in bracket two. And
Yeah.
holy god, do you get left behind fast.
Yep. Yep. But I do love it. I love subtle life gain decks that keep up with the punchies and the stompies and the
Mm-hmm.
go wide tokens. That's fun. Yeah, bracket 2 is
Yeah,
great.
it's neat. It's downright neat.
Yeah.
And then if we go life drain,
Yeah.
I actually think that one wants to be in bracket three. I think you have
Yes.
more fun when you can really juice it versus bracket
Oh, yeah.
two having to, like, oh my god, the coolest life drain deck I ever saw. It was I think it was Shizo was
Please
the
don't say Dina.
commander. No,
I
it's
was
not
like,
Dina.
please don't say Dina.
Yeah, it was Sheree, Shizo's caretaker.
Yes.
Which was kind of played aristocrat-y because it was doing sacrifice stuff, but the main outlet was doing non-infinite life gain loops with a couple little creatures that Sheree could keep bringing back. And that one really benefited from having the tools to go a little faster, get the top end a little bit higher. And I think in bracket two, it would have had to restrain itself so much that it would have felt like it would have just gotten run over by a Gishath.
Totally. I'm thinking a little bit more along the lines that Marty the Goat is here in your Twitch chat, which is Kambal, Council of Allocation, and Yistola. I think Kambal is the best representation of Life Drain, other than like Veto. But veto is normally just an outlet for a combo, as we've spoken about.
Gray is a guy. Gray Merchant of Asphodel is in fact a fucking card. One of the
Gary.
cards of all time. So yeah, I think trying to drain really starts, and I don't think any specific game changers even, but I think from the vibe of we are focused. We are optimized around this plan. We are going to have very few, if any, missteps. We're going to have very few, if any, funny business cards. Whereas Life Gain, you get some funny business. Okay. Ooh, let's talk about chaos. How you feel it? How many chaos decks have you seen in your life, Dr. CEDH?
Hold on, I just want to see when you notice.
I notice. What, that you misspelled wild?
No. I was just checking Twitch chat.
Oh, my Twitch chat, hold on. Oh, Rant from Defcat. What are your thoughts on Defcat as a human being? That guy fucking sucks, dude. Fuck you. I'm banning you out of Twitch chat. I'm banning you. Why would I look at my redeems? We're collabing. DMC, thank you for the 45-bit cheer. Minotaurs do still rock. Didgeridoo until I didgeridoo die.
You mentioned an archetype. I missed it. What was it?
Chaos.
Okay. Let's define it. It's actually way easier to define than you think. Decks that do not know the outcome of their shenanigans. Ones that are playing planar chaos and other effects that constantly warp, meaning I like to call this effect the warp effect. It means a permanent is shuffled into the library and then you get a free one off the top. Like warping effects like that are in this. A lot of coin flip decks that are completely non-engine or combo based or varied.
Mm-hmm.
I think my most fun is with this is Possibility Storm, obviously Lurking Predators, and then there's one more. I think it's Sunbird's Invocation.
Mm-hmm. And I do think there is a difference we should point out between having one of these cards and having a deck be entirely about these cards.
Yeah.
Because you can have stuff like that and have... Let me look at the specific wording on Sunbirds just to make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth. Like, Sunbirds can just be a very greedy value aggregator. Like, that's not right. That's not just because you have this in a deck that has red in it does not mean that you are playing a chaos deck. But if your deck is all about, I don't ever want to straight up remove something, I only want to chaos warp it, I only want to Guff rewrites history it, something along those lines, then we can talk about this is a chaos deck.
Yeah. And also the warping effects often aren't just things that you're hitting your opponents with. It's something you're hitting yourself with to see what ends up happening. A lot of fun. My favorite chaos deck is Usuri and then Blim. Usuri Fortune's Flame.
Oh, Usuri. That's not chaos, you dumb motherfucker.
I feel like
that's a gambling addiction.
No, it is. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like you fit all the fun chaos cards within a deck like this, and it's a good commander to put at the helm for it.
I think I disagree. I'm trying to decide exactly why I disagree.
Yeah.
But I think a central problem of a chaos deck is that if you achieve true output randomness, I think you go into not stinky doo-doo jail, but I think you go into what I'm going to call 10% jail, which is I want less than 10% of my commander games to involve that deck. If it's something you want to have be a standby deck, I think either your commander or your 99 has to temper the output randomness with a, like, for example, this would be a very, very weird one mechanically, but if you did Gruul Atali and then you shoved every chaos card in there, that probably
Yeah.
functions as a more common chaos deck because you go like, oh fuck, none of my chaos stuff is really panning out. Well, I guess I have an 11/11 who's gonna kill you
Yeah.
with infect.
Yeah. And the reason I listed this is Wizards of the Coast has intentionally printed cards that create chaotic effects, and a lot of them were birthed out of precons. Chaos Warp is a precon card.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it would be silly to not at least mention it when Wizards of the Coast is intentionally making cards for this exact, play style.
Right, to do a little bit of a mess around. I do generally think these effects are much better as one-offs than as entire decks built
An
around
archetype.
them. Yeah, everybody who's
Yeah.
tried to make this an archetype, I think it has been unsatisfying to them. But I do think if I was gonna put it in a bracket,
I think it plays best at 2 because at 3, I think you're just annoying the table. That's not what they were there to play with.
Yeah, at 3, people showed up with a well-defined game plan, and Chaos is turning that into, well, let's see what's on the top of your deck. And I was looking at bracket 1, but I think it gets locked out of bracket 1 too, because I think if you bring anything, if you're doing Chaos, you want things that you can flip into that are exciting. If you bring anything that good, the thing you brought is probably not applicable for bracket 1 anymore.
Yes. Yeah, it needs to be somewhat parasitic, but not to the point where it's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I would like next, and I think you can speak mostly to this one, is Pillow Fort.
God. God, do I hate Pillow Fort. I mean, this is one where it should be going the path of Life Drain, where it should not even be its own archetype. It should be the defensive strategy surrounding a different archetype, like a way to win in a different way. Even Evil Dead is saying this isn't an archetype because not interacting is not a strategy. Tell that to all the motherfuckers with Pramicon decks on EDH Rec. Like, this is one where it should not be an archetype, and yet people continuously try to force this into being an archetype and say, oh, this is my Pillow Fort deck, and they're the ones that get all the Reddit threads made about them.
Yeah. It's and again, this list, guys, is not things that we're attempting to explain to you has any validity. That's not our intention. This is things pulled directly from the internet that is proven to be something that on websites like EDH Rec people have been building and talk about. So none of us, I don't think either of us would like to ratify this and put it in as something legitimate.
I am not voting for the constitutional amendment to allow Pillow Fort players to vote.
Yeah. The cringe Pillow Fort versus the based goad. I couldn't have heard that better. That was so good. I love it.
So for Pillow Fort, I think this has to get locked in at 3 pretty easily, mainly because any reasonable Pillow Fort deck should be playing some type of combo. It just shouldn't be playing a very good combo. If you're playing a very good combo, you don't have to dodge damage because nobody can kill you fast enough in most realistic situations.
Yeah. Oh, man. I really do feel like on some level, obviously the professor's hatred of so many Pillow Fort decks is synonymous with his channel at this point. And I'm almost leaning into this being bracket 4, but it would just never survive.
They just get eaten alive, because then they're just like, I don't even want to attack you, bro. Anyway, does Tasigur resolve?
Yeah.
nice propaganda. Pick a card from my graveyard.
Oh God. Yeah, it's
Awkward. I wouldn't call Second Son a combo, but that is the type of effect I'm talking about. A way that just totally shortcuts combat, totally shortcuts life totals, and just says, I win the game on the spot now. Most Pillow Fort decks benefit from having a tool like that, and those tools
Yeah.
become acceptable bracket 3 and above.
Yeah. And so Pillow Fort means survive long enough to do the combo in my
Mm-hmm.
head.
Yeah, it's
So,
survive long enough to do the combo, but it's like combat
yeah.
is more relevant than it would be at a CEDH table where I'd be playing control instead.
Yeah. And so I feel like Pillow Fort, again, not stacks, Pillow Fort would be annoying as all hell in bracket 2
Mm-hmm.
and then is negotiable enough at bracket 3 due to people having more responsible deck
Yeah.
building practices in that bracket.
Yeah, and Icy Schnapp, you bring up a good point that I'd like to bully softly and gently. What about a Pillow Fort that acts like a cop that counters whatever is scary? Just stall the game for the next eon. Genuinely, why should we do that?
It's not fun.
I think that's the thing I'd like you to sit with is now, I think in certain groups that you have a rapport with, that can be fun. It's fun to torture your friends, do it more often.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about Gen Pop, if we're talking about a convention game, I would advise meditation, and I would advise sitting with yourself about how am I extracting enjoyment from this situation. Now, if you're going, my win con is slow, Mono Blue Tower Hand is fun. I have no idea what you're referring to. See, there's the thing: is you've explained it badly on purpose to rage bait the internet creators. Mono Blue Talrand says, I have 1,000,000 dragons. Die, idiot. Like, that's totally fine to do a bunch of controlling spells with, because every time you counterspell a problem, you have a new Drake that can kill somebody. Like, that's just
Yes.
you being Thanos. That's not you, oh, I'm going to delay the game forever and never do anything. That's, hey, I'm going to stop you from playing a dinosaur. Fifth Drake enters. What do you do about it? That's a totally different thing.
You don't need a Pillow Fort deck. You need to join a rec league. You need to go find a sport that there is a set time that ends at some point that you can be around people, because
You need
you are not
intramural
pillow forting people
basketball.
away from you. You are locking them in with you for more social time.
Yeah, this is just called winning. This is not called delay pillow fort.
Yep. Yep. Good, good.
Okay.
I think it's time we go back
Well, more
to the
importantly,
combat.
I think it's time for a manual ad break, because the
I love
pre-roll
those.
the pre-roll demons are back. So I tell this to everybody: we do manual ad breaks on this channel because Twitch won't let me run no ads, and so we're gonna stop all the interesting content for 180 seconds while these ads run. Then we're gonna come back to the real shit. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. And then, Icy Schnapp, what if I never attack, though? See, that's meditation, and that's intramural soccer. Because at that point, you're cutting off your own balls, too. Like, why?
This
What are
is
we...
contactless hockey.
Flag hockey? Yeah. It's hockey, but you can't hit each other, and we don't hit pucks at a neck. We actually sit down for a nice session of tea and biscuits anytime we skate towards an end zone. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going for a bathroom break. I'll be right back, Defcat.
All right, chat. You and I, what terrible things are we going to dispel unto the internet now? I'm going to look at you so you know I'm talking to you. All right. Hello. Evil. Oh, by the way, I have dyslexia. I'm going to mispronounce names for fun now. Evilded 2. Evil Dead. Evil Deaded? Evil Deaded 2. That's your name now. You like my Turbo Nos song? I like my Turbo Nos song. I love that song. It's very fun. Yeah, bracket 3 for Voltron, correct. You can definitely go back through and hear our reasons why. I liked our reasons. Hot take, if you run Tempting Contract, you'll have better games of Commander. Let me read Tempting Contract. Let me get that up here. All right, Tempting Contract. Oh, I love this card. I remember having 1,000,000,000 of them and not being able to get them out of my collection, and now they're worth something. It's been a bit. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may create a treasure token. For each opponent who does, you create a treasure token. Yeah, you know what, man? Go into finance and then succeed because that's a winner's card. I love that. Please auction the chair. I'll be visiting him in 2 months. I can try to steal it, but I own a Mini Cooper, but I'm flying, so I won't even have my car. So I'll rent a U-Haul if I have to, but I do not know you at all. So tell me about your favorite CEDH deck, boys and girls, and everything in between and outside of that. I highly doubt the camera will even pick it up, but my favorite CDH deck to play right now has to be either Rogsai. I know, very generic, but look, it's Sailor Moon.
Okay, I thought
Sailor
about this
Moon.
more, and I have more to
There you
say
go.
about the Talrand situation. I have much more to say about the Talrand situation. I think genuinely, if you are doing something like that and refusing to attack, you need a different morning routine. I think you lack a feeling of control somewhere important in your life, and you're attempting to enforce it on people who you don't know so that you don't have to feel guilt about ruining their afternoon. And I think you would very much benefit from, like, wake up at 7 a.m., go for a walk, get some ice water on your face. I think you'll take that deck apart in a week. Because I see...
All right.
Because I see you trying to go for funny, because it is subversive. And subversion is a core building block of humor. So I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do, like, what if I had a combat win con, but I didn't do it because I was such a bad boy. And I would also recommend watching James Acaster to figure out, like, the next level of your personal humor, because he's very good. And then fucking morning routine, walk around the block, yeah, cold plunge, bicep curls, whatever you got to do. But you gotta exercise control over you, and then you'll stop needing to do it at randoms at your LGS. But if it's your personal friends, get them. Do this more. If it's your personal friends, fuck those guys.
I could believe that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's
Personal friends,
definitely,
absolutely.
like, if your playgroup has the social rapport that nothing happening mechanically doesn't kill the vibe, totally fine to do this stuff. It's just funny then.
Yeah.
But you have to have the social rapport to carry an otherwise dead table.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get so much farther in life with a personality, believe it or not. I mean,
No,
look
you
at
won't. I don't
Mog.
have one. Stole it from
Where
TV.
would he be right now?
Stole it from TV.
I mean, what grocery store? I don't know.
Watch one episode of Psych and then one episode of Scrubs, doesn't matter which one, then come back and tell me I have a personality. Possession's
there.
9/10 of the law. Store-bought's fine.
Love it. I love
Anyway,
it.
how you doing?
I had a pick for our
The
next
pick.
one. That
Yeah,
I'd
what's the
like
pick? Yeah.
So let's talk about non-deterministic storm.
Ah. My beloved.
Yeah.
My beloved.
Exactly. I want to hear it.
Okay, so
Where is it the most fun?
the place where I play the least, which is bracket 4 CDH. Like, you want all the shit to avoid bricking. You want all the gas to be able to try to go off quickly. I've tried to make Spellslinger verging on Storm decks for bracket 2 and bracket 3. The problem I always run into is you take up so much clock time, even if you're practiced.
Sure.
And at bracket 2, bracket 3, because people aren't trying to win, they disengage from your turn. Like in CEDH,
Yes.
people will kind of stay in it because they want to look for, like, okay, where can I fuck you? Because I have interaction. Where can I stop this and still try to win the game? Bracket 2, bracket 3, they just like, oh, you're doing a storm thing? Wake me up when you're done and tell me if you won or not. And so you lose, like, you not only lose out, you turn off a ton of the social benefits of the game when you are storming off in bracket 2 and bracket 3. But in bracket 4, bracket 5, you have all the juice for it. People are actually going to try to interrupt you, which, like, storming into no resistance is no fun. It's no fun. I can do that in the
That
Moxfield playtester. Who gives a fuck?
I'm so happy you bring that up. So if you guys like non-deterministic storm, you would love CEDH. I am
Mm.
gonna praise Ral. Ral is so much fun. One of my friends is one of the most accomplished pilots on it. We were testing last night for an upcoming 10K tournament. He got interacted with 12 times in a 45 spell stack storm turn, and he had to sit there and math everything out and figure out what is the best thing to play that gives him the best advantage while it being non-deterministic, and it was fan freaking tastic. He ended up barely losing at the end, but he still had a lot of fun trying to solve that parabola. And we obviously have all the Kark decks that it's not gambling in CDH because we've made so many copies of them. We know it's going to resolve, unless you're insanely unlucky. There
It's
are a lot
gambling,
of
but you're the
very,
house.
very good ones. Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, Displacer Kitten's a card. And that makes non-deterministic storm so much fun. I have it sitting here on my desk. I love that card, and it has enabled a stupid amount of non-deterministic strategies. It is amazing, and boy, are we getting so many more cards for non-deterministic storm in the next set. The warp cards that double tokens, that double ETBs, all flow straight perfectly into storm because you warp them in for 2 mana. They do a bunch of really cool things. You get a little bit of fun kind of coke hit in the bathroom, and then they come back later to sell you more because you can cast them from exile on a later turn. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I'll harken back to some of my earliest Commander games. Non-deterministic storm was what the first decks I tried to build, and I played them with my friends who were playing what then would have been bracket 2 or bracket 3, and I was chasing this high of like, am I going to be able to find a win through other people's attempts to stop me? And I think 3 games in a row I got to the moment, and everybody was just like, oh yeah, we have nothing, just let us know if you get there. And after the third time, I was like, that's 3 strikes. I'm taking this deck apart. This archetype is going into hibernation until I play at a different power level, because you just like, yeah, nobody's fighting you.
Yeah.
It's just you fucking jerking off in front of a mirror. But it's in CDH.
Socially, way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Bracket 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say, I don't even have I don't even have CDH as a fucking thing on here. All right, I'm gonna grab it for. So I think bracket 4 and CEDH. It's probably, you know what? I'm gonna take it off bracket 4 because bracket 4 is CEDH, but motherfuckers don't bring interaction, and so
yes, exactly.
It's better.
That's not fun for the storm player.
Yeah, it's better in CEDH where you are very confident. I'm gonna have to fight through interaction, and if I get there, I was both lucky and I earned it.
Correct. Yeah. Good. Well, let's just go straight into deterministic storm, meaning ones where, and so let me define this. Deterministic storm means something where you have to continuously cast spells, so there's storm, in order to win, versus a combo that ends once the combo pieces have been played. So it's determined spell chaining, the most effective commander at this, and there is no one even close to this. Anala. Do not make me recite the 26-step deterministic storm combo.
Holy God.
Spellseeker on Anala.
Mixed Eclipse, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Also, Sharks, thank you for the Prime sub for 3 months. Welcome back to the Dog Home. And Rourke1313, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Jeffrey dollars. So Evil Dead, yes, we have moved from non-deterministic to deterministic. And so it's getting there. Although, and here I think we're going to begin blending the lines between just like deterministic. This is really deterministic non-infinite combo. It is like, you may not win with a grape shot, but you're going to be casting a lot of spells, and there is a well-defined chain of spells that will win you this game.
Yeah, and there's multiple ways to get there. It's not specific cards you need to do it. It's not a combo. It storms to the same place. It's just deterministic that it gets there.
Yeah.
I think that is fine for bracket 4.
Yeah, I'm really just trying to debate if it goes in bracket 3 at all, because really what it's like is you're setting these hard line game wins on the table, which I do
Yeah.
think is very 4. And I think the moment you cut enough of the consistency or cut enough of the gas that it feels like a bracket 3 deck, I think you feel like less you. I think you feel like, I have hamstrung what I wanted to be, not, I'm playing this but at a slightly different speed.
Yeah. I would rather not buy a bike with 2 gears. I want to experience the whole bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
so bracket 4 heroes,
like,
Kindred and Anala, which is also Kindred.
Yep. Absolutely.
Tell me what you like. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize.
Oh, what I love about deterministic storm, and then it's where I think I lean rather than non-deterministic, is that deterministic storm is this fun puzzle because, for example, Yisan is a deterministic storm.
Oh, you motherfucker. I knew you were going to talk about Yisan. I put in the contract you can't proselytize about mono green and CDH, you fucking coper.
So, Yisan, as I am the highest winning Yisan player in the world. It's not I barely call it CDH anymore. It's bracket 4. Let's be honest here. This deck has a determined ability to win, but you storm off with a myriad of fun creatures to get there, but it's always ending the same way. There's always a storm that ends somewhere. Lumra, same exact thing. It's always something. Yet Nadu was a deterministic storm deck. That's what I'm trying to find it as.
I was the fucking best of them too.
The best deterministic storm lists are the ones that you can use multiple things within the list in order to get there. And it's fun knowing what can do it for you. And I find that to be probably the most exciting thing about high powers when you've got like, oh, I don't just have Spellseeker with Anala. I've also got Micromancer. I've also got the Technomancer, the one that does the zombie one. I love that stuff.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I agree with that placement. Yeah. Also, Khaki Black, thank you for the 2 months in a row at Tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend.
Well, 2 months. You're in it.
You're in it forever now. You're in the swirly. Okay, so I agree with both the spell chaining things being bracket 4 CDH. Let's do... I'm skipping fucking Cheerios because I hate them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about...
Aggro?
You separated equipment focused and Voltron, you crazy son of a bitch. What's going on in there? What's going on in there?
That was specifically a distinction made within Moxfield and EDH Rec that the point was its decks focused on equipment and like giving them to different creatures, not about your commander. And I don't know if that's a valid thing or not.
It
was there.
It is now. So everybody who did it before Final Fantasy dropped was coping and seething. I fully typed Boros Sephiroth indescribable, but it's Boros Sephiroth. It's this guy, fallen hero.
He's not real. He can't hurt you.
He's
real.
He turns your modified creatures into 7/5. So that's actually like you go wide with equipment. Like Naya Cloud is kind of on this, and yet people continue to Voltron Cloud. But Boros Sephiroth, you get wide on equipment, so you use like bad living weapon for Mirrodin, and then you get a big wide board of 7/5s. That is actually equipment matters, but it's not go wide tokens, even though you end up with this like battle line army.
Yeah. I think equipment matters decks are an archetype now. I think Final Fantasy made it legitimate. I think beforehand, we just lacked enough cards that cared about equipment not being on the same creature.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I lied. Neon Dynasty Kamigawa did it. They said modified creatures get blank, so you wanted all of your creatures to be modified.
Yeah, and yet
And
they
a
were
portion
all
of that,
bad.
yeah, they were terrible. And a portion of that was equipment instead of just +1/+1 counters. But yeah, it was dog. It was total dog.
Yeah, like modified, all of the good ones got sucked up by the counter players. And
Yep.
then like Boros Sephiroth, because he's in Boros, the 1/1 counter players won't slurp him up as quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, so I like Sephiroth for equipment matters. I think this is some stone cold bracket 2 behavior to me.
I believe it. I believe it. 100%.
Your premise
higher, and someone's
yeah.
gonna go, "Oh, you have a hammer? That's cute."
Yeah, like you can do it. And again, I want to reiterate for anybody who's just come into the stream, we're not saying you cannot play these outside of these brackets. We're trying to pick what bracket is going to be the happiest for this archetype. What is the sweet spot of you get enough tools to be functional and the game speed and the game play patterns actually match what you want to get out of it. 47,000 pickles. Nahiri, Forged in Fury, is a go wide equipments matter deck, and she's terrible. God fucking awful. Just brutal dog shit compared to Sephiroth.
Yeah. Honestly, a part of the stipulation here isn't just will your deck survive, will it be able to win, and will it be fun? It's can it hold your opponent's attention span enough to care?
True. And so, like Sephiroth, like because with Equipment Matters, a core premise of your deck is, what if I played a thing that did absolutely nothing until I paid twice as much mana? Oh, fuck.
Yep.
And so those kind of have to be, or not have to be, those benefit from being at slower tables where you get to go like, look at my cool sword. It is nothing right now, but if you give me just 2 more turns, I swear.
And, you know, none of the cards that allow you to cheat these onto your creatures are on the Game Changers list, so bracket 2 is perfectly reasonable for you to still be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we even want to legitimize combat tricks? Is that something we...
No, because that's not even an archetype. That's like 10...
Yeah.
That's 1 million people with a Zata list, and then 20 people with a Feather list, and... nobody else is fucking doing it, and they're really doing, like, Zata is deterministic storm, quite frankly.
And not only that, if it's about the only combat tricking your commander, it just feels like really bad Voltron.
Horrible Voltron.
Yeah.
So
Get
I think
that shit out of here.
Yeah, so I do think those are just like 2 standout commanders.
Yeah. There's 2 people peddling this really hard at the podium. They're really wanting it to be something worth having a conversation about.
Also, Daryl, thank you for the $2 super chat. Yeah, Neon, Final Fantasy, and Assassin's Creed helped equipment. Very true. And the Iceman, thank you for the $2 as well. Could you take a look at Liz Hext, please? Listen, you paid the $2.
Ooh.
Damn, she exists. Back to the content. The Iceman, I do appreciate your donation. If you're hoping for a commander review, those are via YouTube and TikTok comments. But she's fucked up. Is very silly and goofy and fucked up Voltron commander.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's...
I like it.
Speaking of Liz Hext, let's talk about Spellslinger next.
There we go.
There's the
Let's
segue.
make this perfectly clear. Spellslinger is about getting it builds value from casting a lot of instant sorceries, not storming off. It's just that when cast, big value. So the best thing is Calamax the Stormsire. If we're talking about Spellslinger, that is the best commander for what we're defining this as.
I disagree.
Really?
I think he is currently getting his shit run, particularly in casual, by Kuja.
I don't know Kuja.
He's a Rakdos Twink Lord. He makes you mini gutter snipes and then swaps into a damage doubler. And I think this is the most like, I just want to play lots of instants and sorceries and have shit kind of work out. He's
I
doing
am
it.
feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
This
I
is
am feeling it.
this is you flip this motherfucker, like a couple turns go by, you flip him. Every instant or sorcery you put on the stack represents 6 damage to every player with no other cards. You don't have to play Gutter Snipe, you don't have to play Firebrand Archer, you don't have to do any of the tricky shit the spell slinger players have been doing for the last 10 years to try to convert to a game win. He just says like, "Oh, you cast Knight's Whisper, kill a guy."
I need to look through my cards on my desk. I opened up so many boxes of this for my channel. I need to find that and play it. Jeez, that looks
And
fun.
I actually, this, which will give away where I think the archetype goes. This is one of the first bracket 2 spell slingers I really like, because most of the time spell slinger means you are at least kind of storming, like historically.
Yeah.
But with Kuja, this can genuinely just be like, I don't know, man. Shadow Wizard Money Gang, we love casting spells, and you will collateral the table. Like, you don't even have to do Wizard like, you can. That's the thing, is everybody goes like, oh my god, if you did this, you would maximize it so well. His ability is so good in the command zone, you get to do whatever you want. And that is beautiful. If you want to do Wizard Kindred, do Wizard Kindred. If you have some type of like weird fucky Rakdos instants and sorceries you think don't get enough love because they're really, really bad, they're probably good enough if they represent 6 damage to each player. Like, you get to, world is your oyster.
Bro, put Banefire in here. Put Shock, put Bolt, put all the bad versions of Shocks and Bolts into this deck. Throw Removal, throw in like funky, weird, bad versions of Deflecting Swat. Like, make it an interactive, fun, heavy burn deck that plays off the commander, and you'll have so much more fun than min-maxing the wizard double trigger archetype thing you're going for here. It'll be so much more fun.
Shadow, okay, Reink, you've committed a thought crime. Can he be Shadow Wizard Money Gang without being blue, though? Like, Shadow Wizard Gang for sure, but blue brings the money. I'm going to show you a card, and I want you to tell me with a straight fucking face that blue is bringing the money to Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
Bring Harmonic Prodigy out.
And as you consider that, I want you to look at a second card, and I want you to tell me with a straight motherfucking face that blue is bringing the money to Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
Flip it over.
It's just Shadow Money Gang. I'm going to show you a card, Irish. And I want you to tell me with a straight face that the human mutant wizard is only bringing the shadow and money to Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Come on, guys. Listen, Grixis was getting grandfathered in for a long time. We have grown past the blue. Shadow Wizard Money Gang is now officially Rakdos.
Absolutely. And honestly, hold on. I need you to show this to your audience so they can understand what a true Shadow Wizard
Murmuring Mystic, Shadow Wizard Birdwatch Gang? Shut the fuck up. Nah.
You're getting trolled.
I'm being rage baited. I'm being rage baited by people being like, but what if I had a sack outlet? That's entirely different.
Dear God. No.
But yeah, this guy fucking rocks.
So
and it's non-creature, by the way. I think so. Here's the thing. I think everybody who thinks he's cute is going to build him in bracket 3. I'm going to make a bracket 2 version, and I'm going to have infinitely more fun than anybody who is just going like, oh my god, I play Bergie and Stormkiln Artist, and then I play Dragon's Approaches 87 times. I'm going to have more visceral enjoyment in my life than you do, because I'm going to do something tremendously stupid in bracket 2 with him. I bring him up only as an example of the first spell slinger that I think can even go in bracket 2 and still function and not just like fold in half instantly.
I think Calamax was there already, in my opinion, but people were forced to play it at higher tiers.
I could see that.
Yeah. Click the link I just sent you on Discord and make sure the volume's up. That's what it feels like to play Kuja. I can already feel it.
It's gonna make me log in, so I can't open it because I'm not
Oh,
logged in. Also, Glenn, thank you for the $5 on YouTube. I'm enjoying playing Zada, but she's killed on sight often. Any other similar commanders that are lesser known? Kuja, baby. I'll recommend that bitch for everything.
yep.
They're not really similar because Zada's very good.
Combat tricks.
Like, not shut the fuck up. It's not it's combo.
It's combat. It's combo
It's
tricks.
combo tricks. You fucking liar. It's gonna be tough to find something that's totally similar. Liss Hexed, which was asked about by an earlier commenter, is actually going to be kind of similar in terms of I spam combat tricks and it kills you, and is not going to be as offensive as Zada is.
Yeah. Is it Black Mage? Black Waltz number 3. There you go.
Yeah, what a guy. What a guy. Z helped me draft a deck that was Kuja and Black Waltz number 3. We dealt 10 damage to somebody off casting instant ramen. Funniest fucking experience I've had in the arena client my entire life. That's the shit I'm on. That's the shit I'm on. Watch out, hot soup. And then I cast not hot soup, and yet you still die.
Yep.
Explain that. Explain that shit to me,
Honestly.
dude.
Yeah. We could go on. I mean, is it Torbrand that doubles or triples damage, red damage?
No, he's the +2. He's not a tripler.
+2, yeah.
But anyway, I think every spell slinger but Kuja wants to be bracket 3. I think Kuja is just the first one that's actually going to feel nice in bracket 2.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'd say it lives in bracket 3, but you can easily notch it down for your family-friendly gatherings. Nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, all those not safe for work spell slinger decks.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Alec Man, thank you for the $10 super chat. I return for this message to request that tap untap decks be added to the list. We have mounts, vehicles, and station as ways to tap creature outside combat and more creatures with on-tap triggers. Those are mid-range decks. You're either mid-range or combo, and that's just your specific method of building value. So I'm sure that we will be talking about mid-range decks, but I think we are kidding ourselves if we think it is a host unto itself and not just God's 87th way of building mid-range value.
That being said, we're going into mid-range.
Let's talk about mid-range.
Let's talk about mid-range. Look, you think you play mid-range. I need everyone listening to understand that for a second. You do not play mid-range just because there is a single source of removal in your 99. Mid-range is one of the most how do I put this? You sat down for a full meal and it's 5 courses and they're bringing it out in small itty bitty portions. That's a mid-range meal. It's not that you have a variety on your plate. You are going to be slowly and purposefully enjoying every little itty bitty piece of this. And that's something that takes genuine effort and like something that you have to like intentionally do. And so mid-range lists know for a fact that this game is not ending soon and they're going to enjoy like being acidic off of that.
They're going to tease it out. They're going to savor the moment.
Yeah. They may not play savor the moment, although very good in VV. It's the type of deck that loves Ristic Study. And so inherently minimum bracket before we even start.
No niche activity. Oh, benefiting from Ristic Study.
Yeah, nothing niche about this. Mid-range is soup. It is, what is everyone else doing? I'm going to benefit from it.
Mm.
It is the Abercrombie and Fitch of Magic the Gathering when you're in middle school.
Oh, no. Oh, it's the one shirt your mom takes you to buy as a special treat so you can be a handsome man. Perfect.
Oh, bro, I didn't get that. Every article of clothing I owned from birth till college was from Walmart and or Target sale rack. I wore so many soda shirts. I got called Soda Boy in 8th grade. I had every brand. I was rocking all of it. It was
My
awful.
God. My God. Okay, so then let's talk about the correlation of tap untap then, because I think of any strategy as really like I am trying to hang out, grind value through the middle, but my value doesn't or can't translate directly into winning the game. As opposed to
Correct.
like life drain, where or actually there's some good overlaps there because like Yishtola, most of their decks are going to be
Yes.
mid range because it's going to be
Correct.
Esper good stuff. But it will
Yep.
it's going to translate directly. It is going to be quite slow though. So I think we can operate on kind of a speed function of if you don't have
Yeah.
a set turn in mind that you win, but you feel better and better the longer the game goes, that is mid
Definitely.
range.
Let me give you a test. I want to ask you, is this card mid-range, and hear your thoughts, all right?
Okay.
Let me pull up my list. I've got some here. Okay. Archivist of Ogma.
Oh, look at this little shithead. 100%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're not trying to.
Ledger Shredder,
100%. I know that one.
right? Yeah. Okay, good. Notion Thief.
I think this is like we begin to approach the line between mid range and control because we're trying to slow down
Yes.
another person's thing too. But I would agree that most mid range decks would be like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. This blurs the line hard. So I think this already solidifies it. Polywog Prodigy, Talion the Kindly Lord, Fairy Mastermind, Esper Sentinel. All those cards you've ever heard about that generically like get better as the game goes on and your opponents play more cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mid-range strategy. The ones we're talking about are the ones that are popular and everyone knows about, but there's so many of these within lower brackets that are viable. But
Mm-hmm.
because opponents do less at lower brackets, mid-range gets worse as you
Mm.
go down brackets.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I would agree that like the game has to be not totally predictable as well, but predictable enough that you can have some confidence in this value aggregation strategy.
Yeah.
When we're kind of all over the place with bracket 2 games, who fucking knows if the frogman is going to draw you any cards?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think it's like a minimum bracket 4, but I think the place for mid range is CDH. I think that's where it lives. It will have the most fun.
I would agree with that. I think you get to draw the most cards because people are going
Yeah.
to sort of moan the least about it.
Oh
And
yeah.
and you get to leverage the most cards because you get to play all the broken shit.
When will draw your opponent's cards be printed? I love that. Also, Darebrained, yes, what's the single most brain dead play you've ever had at a table played? I got silenced last night during a Magda's turn, and the Magda then won by not having to cast spells, and we all stared at them, and they went, "How was I supposed to know?" There you go.
I had a very similar thing happen once. First, I'm gonna say I believe it's Daryl. Hold on, Daryl. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Killian, the Ink Duelist, is pretty good for this too. Yeah, for the Zata replacement, I agree with that.
Yep.
It is a different feeling, but it does work. Okay, so my most brain dead play, I wish it even involved interaction. I was playing against a like Pillow Fort group hug Azorius deck that wanted to win with Triskaidekaphile, and the turn order was they set up a Triskaidekaphile win on board.
I love this story.
So they had the open mana to do it. They passed to me. I go, hey y'all, I don't have interaction to fully stop this. I'm going to do everything I can to fuck up their board. Do either of you have interaction to stop this, or do we just scoop now? Person in the turn order after me goes, I got you. And I say, great. I take my turn, do what I can, pass. Person after me casts a fight spell. And I think, fuck yeah, they're killing Triskaidekaphile, beautiful. They fight something else on player 4's board, like the one in the turn order after them, instead of Triskaidekaphile. And I go, why the fuck did you do that? You have more interaction, right? And they go, oh no, we still have another turn order, because they couldn't count open mana. And then they pass the turn. Player 4 in the turn order does nothing because their only creature got removed by the green player who's trying to like solidify combat hegemony. And then they pass to the Triskaidekaphile player, and the Triskaidekaphile player just wins. It was like the craziest. Like, I even said the words on my turn. They have the mana to pay into Triskaidekaphile to win on their upkeep, because they didn't have the 13 in hand, and that was why the green player went, oh, we have another turn rotation. Despite they just had fucking lands open. And so that was the singularly most stupid play I've ever seen in my life, because not only did they miss it, they heard me tell them what was happening and still disregarded it. It was every day.
And so this person was a friend?
No. This was back when I was doing streaming Commander with random guests, and that had no small part in why that ended. No small part. And
you want to know something terrible? So I wrote the Shuffle Up and Play soundtrack. I can't sit through a single episode. I feel so bad that I worked so integrally with that entire series, and I can't watch Commander. I don't, and it's often due to that exact scenario where I'm slowly watching the life drain from 3 other people's eyes as they attempt to cordially and very like nicely explain why what they're doing is as bad as jamming your toenail into the side of a pencil sharpener. Like it yeah.
We have a Iceman. Thank you for the $5. We also have a polite disagreement. I think high end bracket 3 for me is really solid for mid range. Trouble in Pairs, Smuggler's Share, Ristic Buddy work well there. I don't think they work poorly there, but I think most mid range decks like just want even more game change, because the idea of mid range is you're Jeffrey Bezos. You're greedy. You want every single good card you can get, and you want all the cheatery, and you want to be very confident that you have the mana and cards to use all of it. So you could build a mid-range deck that's not going to be sad if it limits itself to, oh my god, I only have Ristic Study, Smothering Tithe, and a tutor to get them out. But a lot of mid-range decks are going to take all those effects, all those tutors, all the free interaction, and then leverage those over a soul-crushingly long game.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't believe what we're getting at is where things are the most functional for everyone. We're trying to say, what's the most fun? Where is the Coke gonna hit me the hardest? And it's gonna be when I'm watching people do a 30 spell stack war in CDH, when I have 4 different versions of Ristic Study that say something I draw when you blank, and I go,
that's when you get to go God mode. That's when you're just like, I have more money, more cards, and more counter spells than all of you, and you get to feel very end game video bossy.
Yeah, and for those of you that love Yustola that are talking about Yustola as your mid-range, I have drawn so many cards by having a bunch of mid-range pieces out. I think I had quite literally like 6 different things on my board that says, when opponent you draw, that when I got to my turn, I realized even though I didn't have Demonic Consultation, it had been exiled by someone's Mindbreak Trap, I was able to exile cards out of my library with enough life off my Necropotence to then Thassa's.
Jesus.
It was gorgeous.
Also, re-inked. Thank you for the 500 bits. You bring the Shadow Wizard, I'll bring the Money Gang. Excellent pun, my friend. I appreciate that contribution to the dog pile. And Iceman, to your point about doesn't CDH end in 4 to 6 turns, that's the most typical turn. Well, okay, hold on. It can go much longer. 4 to 7 is like a pretty, it would be not out of the ordinary. And all of that shit can happen in 4 to 7. You get way more spells cast. Like CEDH games are turn short. They are very rarely spell short unless you have unless you have like a Rogsai player and 3 people who are new to it or are being cunts and just refuse to mulligan for interaction. But the game is still packed with enough game actions that if you are parasitic to game actions, your game plan still happens in a huge fucking way.
Yeah. And you know, for those of you that may be interested in CDH as a result of hearing any, you know, you realize that non-deterministic and mid-range are CDH and you're like, those are my favorite, let me go try it. Tell the people before you start the game, I'm starting an hour and a half timer. I would prefer to keep it to tournament time. I don't want, you know, some stupid long game because 99% of tournaments have a clock, you know, and they should. But within that hour and a half, you're gonna get 5-6 turns nowadays on average, fueled with at least a dozen spells every turn, at least.
Darebrain, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. My jam is when someone attacks into an Aether Spouts. On that note, let's talk about control.
Yes. Love control. I think it's one of the most underrepresented, underutilized archetypes of commander, and people think it just means letting people not have fun, which is like totally wrong.
Well, it's an understandable symptom of terrible players trying to make control decks. And I won't even say terrible, new players as well. Like people will go from I opened a precon to I built a control deck, and it does have to be approached with more forethought than that.
Yeah. I want to rant on this. Give me the bad control player. What are they like? and label them. Give them a name. I need to be able to say it with a little bit of gusto.
I mean, I think
Kyle or something. Derek? What?
No, it's not Derek. Hold on, it's coming to me.
Eugene.
I think Arthur, the shitty control player, is somebody who is so used to not winning in life that they now define all of their activities around their ability to not lose. Like, it's somebody who has compromised on their dreams, who accepted early they weren't going to make it into the NBA, accepted early that they were going to get turned down for prom, and that has carried forward into the way they enjoy gameplay, where they go, as long as I am alive, I am winning this game. As long as I am here and you have to listen to me, it doesn't matter how effective I'm being at the thing I want to do, so long as I'm not allowing bad things to happen to me. They just don't have dreams.
Man, you delivered on that.
They just don't have like higher goals. Is I think what's going on with most of the bad control players.
Yes. And a lot of people create no like win conless control, which is ridiculously stupid. Let's talk about the most famous control deck, not the best, the most famous control deck of all time, Lantern Control. If you can pull, do you know the lantern I'm talking about?
I love it so much. I've seen so many people try and fail to recreate this in Commander, and I talk them off the fucking ledge every time.
Yeah. So Lantern of Control has a win con by milling out their opponents while doing the controlling. So it means that their win condition is a slower paced, but very deterministic, very achievable game plan. And a lot of the time you can play Kumbal, for example, or any other, you know, life drain commander that at least has like white or black in it. And obviously blue is the most important for this archetype. That can slowly drain the table. Y'shtola can be a control deck, and it's awesome. And The problem with this is everyone thinks control is a good archetype in Commander. No, it sucks, but it's fun played at the right bracket. But where it's fun to play and it's good to play isn't socially acceptable to play.
Bracket 1.
Oh God, no! I wasn't going that. We weren't down that bad.
I will interrupt this message for Sweet Jimmy. Thank you for the 9 months at tier 1. I love you too, Jimmy. I hope you're carrying our Twitch baby well. I agree with you very much. I think that very similar to Pillow Fort. Very similar to Pillow Fort. Control benefits a lot from being able to play cards that say, I win out of seemingly nowhere. It's not really nowhere, because you typically have to get to a very high amount of mana or a very high amount of card draw to actually effectuate it, but it's, I win from relatively little board presence. And if you don't have those tools, it feels fucking awful. Like you've locked people in a room and you're trying to bludgeon them to death with a pool noodle. Nobody's having a good time. And as chat's erupting with, control's really fucking bad because you have to try to hold 3 people down. Control is hanging on by a thread in 1v1, where you get to run 4 copies of the good counter spells. In Commander, you're on fucking Singleton, trying to tutor to the good counter spells you get to run, and you have to try to stop 3 people from winning the goddamn game. And you can leverage them against each other. It's not a 3v1. But there's so many more threats than you have answers.
Yeah. You got to lawyer in politics pretty hard for this to be useful. And so, in my opinion, the best control deck within this format, without a doubt, is Shurikai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, card advantage in the command zone, good colors. You eventually have a giant Gundam who can kill people if your win cons don't come to fruition.
Correct. As a result of drawing cards to control the game, you get a giant mech that beats people in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough vehicles within the format now that are good enough that you can splash into this deck while controlling that. This is a very fun, very, very fun bracket 2, bracket 3 control deck. My issue is the fact that people often don't want to sit down with a control deck in those brackets, even though that's where it's healthiest.
I agree, and what I think needs to change the most is people think of control as I counterspell you, and people need to be more on Aether Spouts, Settle the Wreckage. I tried to hardcast fucking Aether Gale the other day. Oh, that made me happy. Let's bounce 6 non-land permanents for 5 mana.
Yeah.
I do agree with you that control actually does better or feels better in these lower brackets, but the control players need to abandon the idea of I'm playing around counterspell, and they need to accept the I'm playing around asymmetrical austere command. I'm playing around Battle of Bywater, and my pilots are all going to live, and my Shurikai is uncrewed. And then I'll beat you to death. Like, it's not, oh, you need to wait for me to hit Approach of the Second Sun. Oh, I'm going to Thoracle. I'm going to get in a Gundam, and I'm going to punch you until you stop moving. But you have to invest more in, you still need some counter magic in case people try to, like, slam a Crater Hoof. But
yeah, like March of Swirling Mist, Selective Snare, all really good things, because controlling Commander is removal and bouncing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bounce will buy you, to anybody listening, bounce will buy you more time than you think to solve it doesn't all have to be exile removal. It doesn't all have to be counter spells. Like big board wide bounce. I mean, that shouldn't even be a hot take because Cyclonic Rift, but things that are much weaker than Cyclonic Rift will also buy you way more time than you think.
Yep. And so if you can get it in that control is more in Commander archetyping is more about bouncing, and it's more about keeping everyone at the table as equally threatening as one another, not putting you ahead of them. That is where it's fun and where it's good and socially acceptable. And I think this, maybe we can go through this at the end, we might want to put down which ones are at the best bracket, but only with friend groups you have rapport.
I think we can do a quick run on that. A sentence just popped into my head I want to get your opinion on.
Yes.
I have a budding belief that if you are a control player who relishes in being the archenemy, you actually want to be a mid-range player.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, no, nailed it. Yeah, that's what you want to be doing completely. You want to be on Blue Parm, farmersonly.com, sitting there under every Ristic effect under the sun.
Farmersonly.deck.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think like a big part of control is politicking such that you don't feel like the evil mastermind stopping everything. You feel like, oh, thank fuck Joey had a counterspell to stop this guy from winning the game. Now we get to keep playing. Like, that's genuinely the person you want to be as the control player. And then eventually you go like, hey guys, we did make it 12 turns and I have this crazy card called Approach of the Second Sun. And I am going to cast it and then wheel and then draw again. I mean, but if you want to be the person where all the guns are out, you're punishing everybody, you can be that person. You will genuinely have an easier time achieving that by playing very high power Magic and playing a good mid-range deck.
Yeah, and so if you like control and you think bracket 2 and lower and bracket 3 is too boring for you, I want you to sniff the amazing power that is yelling Ristic Mystic Sentinel. Did I mention a Crom trigger? That will be way more fun for you.
The Nightshade had a question. We have some bit cheers I'm going to get to. Darebrain, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. My favorite deck in play for a while now is a bracket 3 Tameo Control Pillow Fort Landfall Super Friends deck. I swear this is real and not just a collection of buzzwords to make you upset. And what I found was the most important to its game plan was to play cards that don't make me the target. Yeah, exactly what we're talking about. You want to seem totally reasonable until you are ready to win. And DMC, thank you for the 100 bits. Bounce is good enough for standard. It's good enough for commander. Preach. And Atomic Walrus, thank you for the 2 months in a row. I appreciate those Jeffrey dollars. So, did you mean Enlightened Exile for control commanders, Defcat?
Did I ever say about Narset?
It's what you wrote in the sheet. You said e.g. Narset Enlightened Exile, which is the prowess. Oh,
that's wrong. That's wrong.
Did you mean the other one?
I don't know. I don't remember ever mentioning Narset. I don't know why it's in there. I must have misplaced
that. All right, Devcat was having visions when he wrote down Narset. Forget about Narset Enlightened Exile. And Daryl, thank you for the $2 super chat. What about ETB effects with bounce? Those pause me. Those are really good because then if your Azorius control deck has a lot of ETB control things, whether it's ETB, I exile your thing for a while, ETB, I bounce your thing, you can then combine it with flicker effects, and you get to reuse those to accrue a little more value, and that leans a little bit more mid-rangey, but it's still like, it's really just bounce is better than you give it credit for. It's not undefeated in any aspects. It's not a must-have. This is not some like hot commander secret, but it is try mass bounce a little more often. You will be surprised by how useful it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Are we at the end? What else do we have? We have let's talk stacks. Let's just have a horrible time.
No, fuck you. Another archetype that I love and is quickly and immediately slammed into CEDH in my mind because now I've had
it's not CEDH for sure. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think I want it to be. The thing I wanted. So here's my problem with stacks. What stacks wants to do is create a puzzle for people to solve that it thinks it can solve faster. It wants to stop you from storming off. It wants to stop you from tutoring, and then it wants to try to get out from under its own effects in a way that can win the game before you can, which is super 100%. Fun. And when you look at like bracket 2 and bracket 3, it's difficult to make puzzles for children. Every dungeon master knows what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. It's difficult to make universal
Oh,
puzzles for 8-year-olds. And then the issue on the other side is that stacks is quite bad. Or it's very hard to pilot, it's very hard to build for because so much meta knowledge is necessary. Like the most often outcome of a stack is not you win, it's you accidentally king make a different deck.
yes. Yes. And bracket 4 is perfect for this game plan because very often the what bracket 4 is trying to do more
Mm-hmm.
than anything is power out a strategy that it really loved that wasn't strong enough for CDH and normally relies on the commander as an
Mm-hmm.
outlet. And so often you can attack at the same angle. We locally we had two of the best stacks players in the country. I played against them constantly back before Thassa's was printed, right after Flash was banned. And they tried so hard to make everything work. And then for a total of 5 exact months, I
Mm-hmm.
watched them have the time of their life on Winota. It was beautiful. And then
5 months.
every person on this side of the sun caught whiff of it even attempting to resolve, and you got smacked so hard that you quit the format. Like it was awful. The moment it won its first tournament, no one let that bitch resolve a single time. If you dare had the idea of playing it, nah. The pregame conversation was let's kill Winota.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's yeah, okay. I would agree with bracket 4 then because yes, it's I've seen Z try to play Winota even just a few weeks ago and it was they had to lie through their goddamn teeth to get a single permanent resolved.
Exactly.
They had to be like, "Don't worry, it's not gonna win, it's not gonna be a problem." Um it is in a very supremely tough spot in the
Yeah.
EDH and the overall power level of the game right now. And then I think it starts to become acceptable at bracket 3 and there are a number of
Yes.
stacks pieces that I think are acceptable at bracket 2, but I think a stacks deck at bracket 2 weirdo behavior, quite frankly.
Oh, very.
It's weird. There's no
Yeah.
you don't need to be doing all that, but like a couple pieces of like, oh, I think we should be normalizing the Stompy decks playing like Archon of Emeria.
Very much so.
Cause like, yeah,
Totally agree with
you
that.
want to cast one giant fucking dinosaur. This is barely a stacks piece. This is just telling the Spellslinger player to stop running your shit. While you just go, okay, next turn, Galta. I'm good. You're tapping out anyway. What you need a second spell for?
Yep. I mean, what is it? The one from the original Eldraine, the something silence, the enchantment for 1 white that says you can play as
Oh,
many creature spells
deafening.
as you want, but
Yeah,
yeah,
deafening
yeah, yeah.
silence. Yeah, so I think these you can start having pieces that honestly more people should play in bracket 2. You will just have a better time and feel like you have more agency in your games. It starts to be appropriate to have decks that want to stacks things. Brackets 3 and above, and I think the sweet spot for it is 4, where you can just do
Yeah.
vile shit, but you are not subjected to the same level of deck quality as you are in CEDH, where you just
Yeah.
get beaten immediately.
And the problem, just like what Evil Dead is saying, it king makes in bracket 5, but in bracket 4, you have way more agency a little bit faster due to the fact that decks aren't going to be as good at streamlining straight for their win in bracket
Mm-hmm.
4. And so it's not going to king make instantly. It may over 3 turns. You got to be careful. Like a stacks piece inherently can king make, but you're going to have 2 or 3 turns before it's awful. And you may be able to stop the one person you gave an advantage to before then.
Yeah. And then the Iceman, thank you for that extra $2 on YouTube. Would Super Friends be a control deck? They very easily can be. The thing is, because Super Friends typically do not lend themselves to their own win con, other than I take infinite turns, people fill in the blanks with a different archetype. They either go control, they go Pillow Fort, they go control, but I forgot counter spells, and it's all board wipes.
Yep.
Some number of things to try to avoid on board interaction because planeswalkers are really weak to it. Many of them default to a control-y strategy instead of looking in the mirror and building a different deck.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Friends in general will have the most fun being your fun bracket one. I just really like these Avenger,
Mm-hmm.
poster cards.
Yeah.
Because you have to adopt a much more aggressive, unfun archetype on top of Super Friends in order for them to work. And at that point, you're in a bracket that you'll no longer get to do the thing.
Mm-hmm. We have a rant from Reinked. Can we talk about how bracket 4 feels like it doesn't have an identity? I disagree. I think it does. That identity is the hazmat zone.
Yep.
We may not like
Yep.
that identity,
Preach.
but that is
Keep going.
certainly the identity it has. Like, it's currently, when you other something, when you other a space, that is an identity. Like, Detroit has an identity. We just might not
Bracket
like
4
it.
is Detroit. Oh, 100%.
Bracket 4 is an
And
abandoned warehouse in Detroit where if you go there past 9 p.m., you might get shot. Like, that's...
You're going to be okay losing in bracket 4 to something you can't stop because there is no meta defined, so you can't prepare for it, and someone's going to hit you with the most awkward turn 6 win angle. Like, someone has just surveilled half their deck into their graveyard using Doom Whisper and then slammed mutated Nethroi onto it and then pulled back a Hulk pile that they milled into their graveyard and won. And you're like, damn, B,
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Now, we now have dueling opinions with Michael on TikTok defending Detroit, which I have not been to Detroit recently, so I'll accept being wrong here. And then Raffle Soups, who says, as a Detroiter, I 100% support this description. So I will let you two fight it out. But I think the best way to conceptualize bracket 4 is it's typically CEDH, but one of the main pillars of gameplay has been pulled away, which leads to a very variable experience. It's typically a CEDH deck, but it gives up the speed, or it gives up the consistency, or it gives up the ability to interact with the table. And you'll get two of those pillars. And so you have decks that feel like incredibly irresponsible turbo decks, or you have decks that feel like win conless control, but the control is really, really good. And a lot of the times that feels bad. And then sometimes you get people who just take really bad decks and shove them full of game changers. And those are just Frankenstein's monsters.
That's the real issue. If bracket 4 was filled with the decks that we're saying are bracket 4 and not people pumping a bracket 3 and 2 list with game changers, it would be a good bracket. But you are going to have so many people everyone used to abuse power 7. These are the same people. It's the same people that took Morophon and then turned it into a combo deck somehow, or Joda, and just slammed it to be the most powerful thing possible with all the game changers possible. And shout out to the commander panel that was able to give us the term game changer, because now we can like identify these cards we've been trying to talk about for so long. I think the bracket system just is amazing. I love it. I think it helps this conversation out so much. It was everything I wanted them to do. Obviously, shout out to Rachel Weeks. Me and them actually are on the next Nitpicking Nerds gameplay episode with one another. Just beautiful.
So, to the point of Azami's question, how would you confront players who parade bracket 4 or who make bracket 4 decks but parade them around as 3s because they are limited to 3 game changers but everything else is incredibly optimized? The first difficulty there is there's a lot of nuance. Like, if you have a bracket 4 deck, one of these decks that you would call bracket 4, but only has 3 game changers, in every case that is going to be meaningfully weaker than a deck that has unlimited game changers because of how fucking good game changers are. So it may be the case that they just have a bracket 3 deck that is good. Like, it's tough to be very, very precise by what we mean by incredibly optimized, because randomness is such a overwhelming force of this game. Like, for example, recently I played against Z has made a Arden deck, who's a very expensive mono black commander who reanimates from the grave, and it won, and it looked really good. And their opening 3 turns also went like they had a turn 1 Soul Ring, and by turn 3 they had 3 card draw engines on board, and they also got Throne of Eldraine and I think another like 3 mana rock. And so by turn 7 they had like 12 mana they could tap, and they were drawing 4 cards a turn cycle. And that is not the average experience for that deck at all, but they had a very, very good run out. And so if you have, to anybody who's like, oh, this motherfucker has a 4 and we're playing 3s, or this motherfucker has a 3 and they're playing 2s, it is worth questioning is that how their deck is performing on average, or is that the nut draw for their deck? Like, look at your deck and go, if I got to sculpt a perfect hand, how crazy does that look? Because most decks in a singleton format should be able to look crazy. You should be able to do something that makes people go, wow, that's bullshit, you cheater, but lovingly.
Yeah. And not only that, you have to acknowledge the fact that all the fast mana in this game, outside of Soul Ring, which should be considered fast mana and should be a game changer, it's all under the game changers list. So it's not like this person who has a really, really good deck is doing it that fast within bracket 3. I just think it's most likely a insanely powerful strategy for bracket 3. It's just really good. Bracket 4, in a way, if you look at it, isn't talking about the power level. It's just how well, optimized it is. And some strategies need more game changers to optimize than others, but that's not their fault.
And there's the circular version of this argument is, if the deck is totally optimized except for all these really good cards they left out because they were game changers, not optimized.
Yep.
Left a bunch of cards out. Like, now, depending on what colors they are, the distance between these things can get very, very small, right? Think 5-color good stuff versus mono red, where you have so few good cards to go around in the first place. You're really just looking at fast mana, but it is still like, oh, your deck is so optimal except for these 15 cards on the game changer list you could have in your deck but don't. That's a fat fucking difference.
Yeah. And no offense, but anyone who's like, I want to play bracket 3 and bracket 3 only, and then they are min-maxing to have the best of bracket 3, is a bad actor, boring to play with, and has no personality. I do not care for that person and do not wish to be at a table with them. I have a deck that's by definition under these rulings bracket 2, but I'm always obvious with people. Hey, it can bang up with a bracket 3. This thing's pretty damn good. If you have a bracket 3, you're happy to play it with this deck. It just didn't need any game changers. Not that I took them out to lower its power level to bracket 2. Be honest,
And to Iceblader's point, I've built a bracket 3 Atali list that can present wins turn 3 to turn 4 without a 2-card infinite combo. That happens when your deck is a thinly disguised gambling addiction. You are the bracket 3 turbo player, and I think this is why turn speed is not a thing you can nail down well as a way to identify your bracket with any precision outside of a bracket 2 deck shouldn't present a turn 4 win in any fucking world. But once we start to get into bracket 3, if you're the other clarifying questions we should be asking are, okay, well, how good are you at presenting these wins consistently if somebody counterspells Atali? Because if your deck is just, I'm going to play every ramp spell under the sun and hope Atali flips into clone spells and I put together a win from other people's deck lists, that's really not broken. Somebody should have fucked with your ramp. Somebody should have fucked with your cast of Atali. That is an expectation of the phrase, I like strong cards and I'm ready for battle. If you were not ready to deal with a single problem between turns 1 and 4, motherfucker, you are not ready for battle. You're not. And it's also the space between can and does really consistently. Like
Yeah.
CEDH Atali decks are high rolling to that motherfucker immediately almost every game. Like you are mulliganing to that hand and you are finding that hand really consistently versus if your deck is like, well, the dream hand can do it, most hands cannot, and if I get
Yeah.
interacted with I scoop, that is a meaningful difference.
Yep. Those decks also suck. If your deck is like fishing for god hands and then has boring games outside of that, like grow up. I don't want to I'm sorry.
I
It's
agree with
boring.
that separate to the Dino binary point. But I think if your
Yeah.
deck is just like I ramp into a Tali and then I hope for the best, that's normal. The
Yeah.
the best on a thing
That's
that
a
you
lot of
can't
decks.
control can very well be, oh, I guess I win the game now. And that's
Yep.
why turn order or like the turn that you attempt to win, very, very bad indicator of how strong your deck
Yep.
is.
I think the last archetype worth talking about, there might be. Oh, we didn't know turbo yet. Actually, we haven't talked about turbo. It's bracket 5. There you go. I don't.
Oh yeah, turbo CDH. If you want
Cool.
if you want to mulligan aggressively and to be specific, it was for a bracket 3 tournament at our LGS. That shop owner made a devastating mistake and I hope they never do it again. Trying to
Oh
make a
God.
tournament within the confines of the bracket system is just such a fucking bad idea. That's so
Yeah.
miserable. That is fucking
I would.
cursed.
Don't touch it. You'll
Yeah,
get
don't do
sick.
it. Don't do it. It's a mistake. You'll get a contact stupid.
Yep. We
Um,
do have theft as well. I think turbo so self-explanatory. I can say something on it just to be nice, but
no, I think Turbo very clearly CDH strategy. If you think otherwise, you are just wrong, and you can like try to defend yourself in the
yeah.
comments. But yeah, if you're trying to end the game,
Cheating. Yeah. Mana cheat strategies totally bracket 4. Have a blast.
mm-hmm.
Everything playing sneak attack, dream halls, show and tell. That's total bracket 4 behavior. Super fun.
Yeah. And then we can talk about theft. This is one of my favorite strategies.
Yes.
I think.
Who's your favorite theft commander?
Hmm. See, this is hard because I very rarely do full theft commanders, and I just jam theft bullshit into every deck I make. I just like
Okay. Okay.
uh
Yeah.
and so I love cloning your shit. I love taking your shit. I love the threat being not I'm gonna remove it, but hey, if that swings at me, it's mine now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that typically benefits from having more colors than the individual theft commanders do, or like it benefits from having non-theft in the command zone because theft is weak.
Yeah.
Theft is weak because you are so highly reliant on what your opponents have that it has always
Yeah.
behooved me to go, okay, my commander's going to do a different thing that can move the game forward and close things out. And then the deck is going to rob you. But if that fails, you know, like, hey, VV has a
Mm-hmm.
very large hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I'm I'm partial to it being in the command zone because of like theft can get really boring if you don't steal enough cards because you
Mm-hmm.
you brick a lot, you hit a lot of lands. For a long time my heart was set on Jaleva. She was one of my first precons I ever purchased. Jaleva's fantastic. It quickly moved on to Paco and Halden when that was printed during I think right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Love Paco and Halden. It's also I think the most fair theft deck. It's literally I have to punch you and then slobber on the card in order to play it, which is really cool. You have to put slobber counters on cards. It's cute.
Yeah.
Um, and then it all came to a crux when I saw Evelyn the Covetous, and I was like,
Oh, of course.
hell yeah. Oh hell flash speed. Give it to me. It was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about Sun triplets. Get that out of
No,
here.
we're not talking
I
about Sen triplets. No, no, no.
That is not consensual.
Yeah, I. Hmm. it's tough to place it in a bracket other than it has to be 2 or 3. I think 4 CDH, like there are individual theft cards like Mnemonic Betrayal, where because you know other people are playing really good cards, you actually become more confident you're going to steal something good. And so I think the best theft pieces become more happy in CEDH. But I think if your deck's strategy is theft, I think you're typically the happiest in bracket 3, because you want the cards to be at least a little bit good. Like bracket 2, you are stealing out of context Merfolk number 17, who's going to give your board a buff based on a thing that you are never doing in the game.
I think that on the topic of these these archetypes being fun, I will only have fun at minimum at bracket 3 stealing cards. I will be so bored stealing a
Mm-hmm.
precon's cards.
Oh god, yeah, because they don't care either. Like,
yeah, I will love to steal someone's Chatterfang that they have like poured every dollar, gone into debt, broke their marriage over. I cannot wait to steal your card and stare at you in the face.
yeah,
I think bracket 4 players are the most obsessed with their pet decks, and those are the people that I want to fuck with. I want to ruin your night by stealing a card in a funny way, not actually. I'm not trying to like
yeah.
let's be cordial here, but bracket 4 I think is the most fun you will have. I have no clue on God's green earth what bracket this functions best at. I just think it'll be the most fun at bracket 4.
So my only concern about having fun with it at bracket 4 and why I really like to do it at bracket 3 is bracket 4 can win so out of nowhere because you still have some people who are just playing like turbo at bracket 4, like their pet deck is just some turbo combo.
But that's any strategy at bracket 4, right? There any bracket
right,
4
that's
list
what
is
I'm
gonna have to deal
saying
with that.
is I think theft has more fun when it has more time.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
that makes
Yep,
me
I'm with
favor
you.
bracket 3 over, because on in aggregate, you're going to have more time to set up your theft engine. You're going to have more time to cherish and utilize the things you have robbed. I do think it's more each individual theft, I will say, more viscerally satisfying at bracket 4. Much higher chance you have ruined that person's day with the theft.
I'll take your cards like
Right.
your ex took the house.
Oh my god, that's good grime, Kydro. But I think bracket 3, the overall games will be more satisfying.
Yes, completely agree. I think this is upper bracket 3. Like players that are playing bracket 3 and genuinely know what they're doing. I don't want to bully someone that pulled a Ristic study out of the extra sheet and decided to make their first bracket 3 list.
Oh yeah, you jammed a Ristic study in your pre-con and called it bracket 3. Yeah, we don't want to bully those people.
Yeah, nor will I have fun playing against you.
Right. And so,
Yep.
Okay, so I'll make that the bridge between bracket 3 and bracket 4.
Yep.
And then,
love it.
All right, I think that's it. I think we've done it.
Yeah, I'm happy with this. There's nothing. Oh, group hug.
Fuck group hug.
Okay, good.
It's bracket 3. Right?
Yeah.
Is there any, because bracket 4, bracket 4 group hug says you let somebody else win. Bracket 2 says I am making this a 3-hour chaos fest that is not satisfying for anybody.
Yes.
Even if you play group hug correctly in the way that Spice 8 Rack taught you all to, where you're not just group hugging everybody and you're actually like selecting individual targets for the group hug.
Handshaking. Yeah.
Right. It's still like bracket 2, either nobody can use your help or you're helping too much and nobody can close. Bracket 4, you have passed the win to somebody else.
Correct. I think this about covers the largest strategies that don't get into it's just combo in disguise.
Yeah. I think this covers it. And so, Defcat, thank you for being here. We're going to raid out for the day, and I think we're going to raid out into Decked Out because their subathon to help move their studio is still going on.
Yes.
The Let's have the raid message be, I think.
Yeah, the only one I was thinking last was Landfall, but I think that does
Fuck 'em.
blur into the
Fuck them. They
normal
don't
strategy
deserve
stuff.
shit. They do not deserve
And
shit.
if you don't like Landfall, I just posted a reverse Landfall deck on Defcat MTG. If you guys want to know the opposite of Landfall, go watch that.
Go check it out. All right, hit them with the indestructible Justin rant, accessible via the ! Voltron command. YouTube and TikTok, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for keeping us company. I'll be live again tomorrow doing deck roasting, but that's going to be it for today. Go check out Defcat on YouTube. Check out Playing with Power on YouTube. Are there other platforms, Mr. Cat?
Yes, please.
What other platforms, Mr. Cat?
I'm not on others at the moment. I'm
on
sticking to
YouTube.
while
Check
I
it out.
figure out the algorithm.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. Goodbye, everybody.